Your elders.
A lot of respect in around here.
So we have to wear an age badge?
I think we all do, just take a look.
You said
An
respect
age
the ones
badge
that are
or a
older-
name
He
badge?
said an age badge.
You said I only have to respect the ones that are older than me.
No, I said respect your elders.
Oh.
Alright, you're up and running. Camera's on, folks.
Another couple of minutes.
Wow, please smile.
Has everybody signed in on the sign-in sheet?
No,
No,
No?
no, it hasn't come this way yet.
Haven't even seen it.
What's his name has it?
What's his name?
Who's this over there?
Next door to whatchamacallit. In town. Frame rate's just a little low.
She's making them.
You got
Thank you,
it?
Barbara.
Thank you, Barbara.
Was that yours or?
Anybody else?
Oh, you haven't.
Anybody else not signed?
No,
Guests?
they're getting, she's getting.
David.
more.
David hasn't signed.
David hasn't
You guys
signed.
all signed in
Yes,
over here?
thank you.
David. The big kahuna.
Oh, you got a pen. Oh, you them down there, okay. Okay, okay.
This is for permanent lighting? This is for permanent lighting?
I'm not sure what you're looking at.
It's the lights, the
The,
lights on
They
the,
can be if you want to. You. If you want them to be permanent, then we'd have to arrange for periodic retentioning of them because the trees swell when the rains come. And that's what happened last year because we got rains in the winter instead of the summer. Sure, everybody loves them.
they were gorgeous, especially on the Royals.
And these are,
Right now, I think the permanent part is the wiring to plug them in rather than
Yeah.
what was there before.
he has to give us reliable power to these things.
Then it becomes our option whether we wanna keep them or,
Watch
we
us
own
when they
them.
lit up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna be able to avoid any extension cords, but we wanna make them as few as possible and as short as possible.
And inconspicuous.
What we had going on 2 years ago was, well, it was,
I know.
I'd like to say it's a Rube Goldberg contraction, but it really was a Donald Foster contraction.
I think I should wait another minute or two until we get copies for those who don't have one.
surely.
My name is not Shirley.
That's true.
Do you know what the progress is on the cooling towers? They must be close to complete.
I think so. I would think they'd be done, getting close.
Has anybody visited the site? It's magnificent. Never seen anything like it in my life.
I can call and find out.
They brought in pipe, before this starts while we're waiting for them. They brought in German-made polypropylene pipe that's half an inch thick. And they have to make angle cuts to create elbows.
Right.
So they use levels and so forth and squares to get it all lined
And
up.
it's not a
They
pre-made
put a
elbow?
hot plate, no, not yet. They haven't got to that point. So they put a hot plate at 540 degrees. They clamp and bring them together and hold them one on each side of the hot plate for 8 minutes. They remove the hot plate, clamp them together, and as they're clamped, you see that a bead formed as it fuses.
How exciting.
So, but to make an elbow, it's 1, 2, 3. So the company hasn't yet created a sweep. So you can't make a 90 degree because then you got you know, so it has to flow.
And because it's so thick, they can't soften it and mold it like bentwood?
See, I think that it has a memory in it, so if you try to do this and put it together, it's gonna.
Oh,
So the accuracy is involved in having the perfection in this being exactly level and plumb and connected to the unit above. And they have big plates that are 1.25 inches thick, and they put one on each side connected, and then they clamp them and torque the bolts down. But it's something to see.
Why German PVC? What's so special?
No, I think it's polypropylene.
Why is that necessary?
They thought it would last longer and it resists scaling on the inside.
I mean, it's very
I
strong.
mean, it probably could have been done for $15,000-$20,000 less
I'm just saying.
had they not have to do all
chump
of this.
change.
This selection is interesting. It's a historically interesting fact that when the Russians went to build their missile launch command and control system, 300 meters underground, guess who built it? German contractors. This is a long, long time ago.
Yeah.
The concrete, there was something special, and it had the requirement to be resistant to nuclear blast. It was just something about their technology. And it's scary that if we can't actually duplicate that, it's just scary.
I can't believe we can't.
Yeah, money. Sure.
I'm sure we can, we're just not.
Everybody else have on that?
Yeah.
Why would WPRF? It can't be cheaper.
Dave, can you pass one down? I don't even have one.
Why would they go to
Thank you very
the
much.
Germans?
Why would?
Okay, so we're gonna call the meeting. It's 10:03.
Other bids?
And once again, I take notes, so I'm just the moderator and we're ready to go. Has everybody looked at the minutes? Any exceptions or changes from last month?
Look good to me, I recommend we accept them.
Second.
The only reason you say that is because you don't take the notes.
Well, I'm ready in the event I have to.
So the minutes are accepted as written. Thank you. The first thing we're gonna discuss this morning is Elizabeth Street lights.
Before I get to that, I just wanna go through last month's votes, the ones that pertain to me, just give you guys some updates. Spiraling whitefly, coconut palm root drench, work's been done, waiting on the invoice. Please don't eat,
I
don't
think
eat,
I see a flag in front of every palm tree.
don't eat the coconut.
There's a little piece of white, yeah.
The signage on the laundry facility has been complete. I think everybody's seen it.
Mhm.
The thermoplastic line striping, that's gonna happen on Saturday morning.
Say that again,
We're gonna do crosswalk striping this Saturday morning.
right where?
At Four Corners
Four
on,
Corners.
You know what's gonna happen.
Yes,
Century Boulevard.
the
Century Boulevard.
thinking there is there'd be less commercial traffic, but we do have more,
Walkers.
we do have more pedestrian traffic on that day.
Correct.
The company's gonna respond by bringing their own flagmen. Our security department is gonna be on hand, and
Okay.
I'll be out there in my orange vest.
Okay, so there'll be room for wheelchairs and walkers and stuff.
We'll accommodate everyone as we can.
I'm gonna make a suggestion,
Yes, sir.
that you call Pinky Eisenberg and you let him know what's gonna happen,
Yeah,
idea.
alright?
yeah.
You're gonna maybe cause a little,
Star.
yeah.
Okay. Okay,
That's not a good idea.
first job, first I just want to explain, this is a pretty big packet we've had this month. We're now the bid infrastructure committee, so your workload has effectively doubled. I'm bringing you everything now, bid it or not. First job is the Elizabeth Street streetlights. If you look at page 2, this is a section of road that has a lot more pedestrian traffic than it used to. It needs to be better lit. The thinking here is to install 2 new double street lights along the Kingswood side, or one by Kingswood B and the other by Kingswood D. First contractor I brought this to was TSI Electrical, who mostly works on our pumps. His solution was to bring power feeds from the Kingswood buildings and then let FPL take it from there. Didn't really get very far with FPL as far as getting these poles in. I would project it'd be at least a year before we get any response out of them. Plus, I would have to figure out how to square away the power problem with the Kingswood buildings. Either put in our own 2 new meters or work something out with the Kingswoods. It seems overly complicated to me.
It's not. Somerset pays for the light going into Somerset Close. JK and L contribute once a year $50 to the upkeep of that light. And we've been doing it for years. It's not a big deal.
Until it is, which it has been.
It's over 20 years, so till it is when.
3 years ago, I provided the bulb,
Uh-huh,
and they asked me if I would pay the difference between the electricity before the bulb was turned on and afterwards. I said, no, that's,
that's right.
that should be your
We all
responsibility.
contributed, I believe it was $200 or 2 and change when that whole unit.
Yeah.
The 3 buildings I'm talking about, and every year we contribute $50 an association, JK and L, in order to, we make it out to L building because they're the ones who get the bill.
Then-
So it's not a big deal. If
Then
they
there was
want the light, they should be cooperative.
This isn't a Kingswood initiative, this is coming out of UCO. We're actually gonna go to Kingswood and ask if it's okay to put the pole on their property.
All right, and if you get an affirmative answer, then the next thing is to offer them a payment program.
Next electrician I brought this to is Godly Electrical, who has done work for us here at UCO. He did our streetlights here in the parking lot, recommended to us by Dan Cruz at Senrec. His solution, a little more comprehensive. If you look at the map, what he's proposing to do is to bring 2 donated poles and sweep arms from the Boca Raton property, no cost to us.
FPL poles,
They're FPL poles,
concrete obelisks.
concrete obelisks,
Okay.
and with the sweep arms already attached, all we have to buy is the bulbs, the electrical
Are they
fixtures.
gonna change the numbers on the poles to recognize West Palm Beach instead of Boca?
Gonna get that in a minute. What's gonna happen here is, we're gonna install these poles. These poles are gonna belong to us. As far as powering, we're gonna directly bore out to 2 existing light poles on Greenbrier Circle and South Drive. That ends our problem with having to put in new meters, because the power will be drawing off existing meters. Here's the issue, we're gonna own these 2 poles. These will be the only 2 poles that we own in anywhere in Century Village. The rest of them are owned by FPL. Stuart brought up a good suggestion yesterday, we could just put a small sign on each one of the poles that say, these belong to UCO. And if the bulbs burn out, it'll be up to us to fix them. They will be LED fixtures, so I don't expect we'll have to fix them very often. But it solves the lighting problem quickly. It simplifies our permitting process, and this is my recommendation, Godly Electrical for $8,100 to put these poles in ourselves.
Donnie,
Yes, sir.
this will end up, the second proposal will end up on the campus-wide electric bill from FPL.
It will. They'll draw off 2 existing UCO meters.
Yes, I got you.
Saves us having to buy 2 more meters.
Also
But that's not fair.
obviates the problem of getting Kingswood to cooperate in their own best interest.
I already have verbal agreement from Mr. Huard in one of the Kingswood associations. He's all for the project and he'll give us an easement if we present it to him. I haven't made the other contact in E or D.
Yeah, you got to the next question, the easement.
Yeah.
It's not on our property.
It's a little tongue of grass that comes out.
Right.
I can't imagine they'd say no, but we've already, like I said, we've already got 50% yes, so
How could you do this without permits?
there will be permitting, but it'll be a little simpler than going through the FPL process. So no, we will be going for permits on this.
corner shed.
I have a question. There's a question out here.
Barbara?
Yeah, I'm just curious as to how, I'm sure you did, check with FPL and why they wouldn't put light poles there. Since it is a safety issue, you know, we have them all over the village. Why,
FPL will do whatever we ask them to eventually. Dominic
I asked them
actually,
3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I said, it's dark, the people wear dark clothing, the little kids are out playing at night, and all we need is one accident, and it's gonna cost a lot more than putting in 2 poles.
right,
And,
but was it followed up every month and said, what's happening, what's going on?
he told me that they'd get back to us, and he had, what's it,
Well,
Michelle
you might
something
never
or
get
other?
back to you, we'll all be retired
and then I
that
picked
year.
up,
Yeah, I
at
know.
some point I picked up the ball and I had no luck with these guys either. I mean, can we do it? Sure.
And
It
don't you
might-
have an end with FPL, Louise out front?
Yeah, we worked that angle as well.
The cost will be staggering.
That's the other thing. We don't even know what FPL is gonna charge us for
We
these.
don't know.
And
This project lives or dies on the safety issue. When I turn in there at night, I have to drive 3 miles an hour. Because I got 5 people walking abreast in jet black clothing, head to toe, and you can't see them. That's the only reason I would recommend going forward with this. FPL will charge you'll pay 7 to 8K per pole if they come in here with their standard process.
Plus rent.
we're gonna pay rent on the pole forever.
Who's gonna install this?
Godly Electrical. The entire job will be done by the company.
Because the officers, let me tell you what the officers are gonna say. Hey, this isn't our property. This isn't our problem,
Why should we pay?
right? And the only thing that you have to rely on, there is a real safety issue before somebody gets hit in the dark.
Another thing we have to rely on, and that's the fact that Florida Power is now putting in poles all over the place to replace ones they think are obsolete. They could be at this for 4 or 5 years before they get it done. They're not gonna step out of that schedule to fix 2 for us. They're gonna make us wait till hell
So
freezes
this
over.
price, Ed, you're saying the price you're looking at, the 8,100 and the 42, is just for electric? Somebody else gonna put the poles in and everything and get the permits, Donald?
This is the entire job from stem to stern.
Oh, for
FPL,
both of them?
no, only from Godly Electrical.
Oh, that's what I'm asking.
The other
So
guy
you're not
wanted-
comparing apples to apples with these bids?
No, we
The
are
other
not.
guy
They're two
wanted-
different approaches.
The other guy wanted Florida Power Light to do the work.
Okay, I got you.
And there we are waiting for a period where they're done all the other poles in the entire city.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
but
did-
they're different bids.
I did send the Godly Electric proposal, minus the pricing obviously, to another electric firm, Caber Electric, and didn't get anything back from them. Jeff, I'm sorry, Jeff, go ahead. It's okay.
Well, my issue is that, we only have one bid here. We have 2 different proposals, 2
Right.
different, approaches, as you said, and we only have one bid from this, Godly.
Right, now keep in mind that Godly is speccing in these donated poles and sweeps, which another electrical company is not gonna be able to do. He's doing this because of a personal connection with Senric.
I know, but when I don't even have the opportunity to look at 2 other bids and see what they are, I don't have any,
I'll
well,
go
I
back,
want, maybe I'm a pig, but I'd like to see 3.
No, you're not.
I'll go back and get you 5 if you want, depends how long you wanna wait to get these lights in.
FPL doesn't mind working on donated poles.
FPL's involvement in this project will be strictly as an inspector. They're not gonna,
But they don't object to the fact that we're taking their poles from somewhere else?
to my knowledge, no. There are poles, they're owned by Senrec, they're being donated to UCO, we own them, it's a matter of inspection. This is private property.
Barbara put their hand up first.
Who's next?
So in other words, the poles, regardless of the electrician, I mean, not the small guy, but this company, those poles are being donated by CV from Boca.
Yes.
So they would donate them, I'm sure, to whoever we decided to use, not just him. Or we under the thumb of saying, you'll get the poles if you use him.
No, I don't think
That's
so.
what I'm
I
asking.
think they'll
that's
give
all.
this up, I think they're giving us the polls, they're not giving Jose the
That's
polls.
what I wanna know,
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
therefore you could get other bids.
Could we, sure, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, David, sorry.
I'm looking at the map here and
Yeah.
it's hard to read, but is it necessary to be on the Kingswood side? Is there any Utah side?
Yeah,
on the other side?
There is no Yuko property here, and I walked the Gulf's Edge side, and I just don't see where we could put these things that they'll be effective. There's a little patch of grass on the Gulf's Edge side that might work. But if you look, I should have brought you the survey as well. If you look at these little tongues, if you look just above the green X's, you'll see these little tongues of,
Yes, I know exactly where.
it seems to be the most obvious place to put them because they stick out into the road.
Their dumpsters are not on those areas?
Their dumpsters are on the other side.
Okay,
So the ground is available to us.
Yeah, and it just screams out, put a pole here.
And it's far enough off the road that you don't think people are gonna be running into it.
And it's in their best interest to do this in the second place. I mean, it's safety for their own children and the adults.
And I dare say, any kind of contract we don't do here, if someone gets hit by a car, the bill's gonna be a lot bigger than
It
this.
is, exactly.
The other thing I would submit
Barbara's
is
hand
that,
is up again.
Barbara?
Yeah, I know Dawn can't see me. As far as safety, I think this has to be done. I've driven it, it's so dark there. I have a friend that lives over by Galphie's Ridge. It's very dark. But as far as telling me it's not an emergency, it's been like that for I don't know how many years. What I'm saying is, it wouldn't hurt to get another
at
bid.
least.
I can't believe you're getting one bid on a project like this. That's all I'm saying. This is the bid committee
Well,
and infrastructure.
well, I got 2 bids, actually I put out for 3, got 2 back, each had a different approach, hence the different prices. I can keep bringing you electricians from now till next
No,
winter,
I mean
it's up to
one
you.
that compares apple to apples. I don't wanna see
Sure.
TSI that doesn't do the work we need done. I want a company that's gonna be like Gottlieb, who's gonna do the work.
I'll bring you as many as you like, how many would you
At
like?
least
How
one or
many
two
apples
more.
would you like?
3 apples.
So you have one, so you should have 2
Oh.
more.
Yeah.
With the basis of using the electric poles that we're getting from
Right.
Boca.
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And this way you have
I'd love
three
to see the RFP.
bids and you can decide which one do you wanna use. And this resolves the problem and prevents people from from outside screaming and hollering that we're spending their money without.
If we're gonna ask for further
Yeah.
bids, it has to be the exact same wording as we
Right.
have here.
Do you have an RFP for this?
Yeah, well, the new RFP has got the electric's proposal. I just,
That's it?
yeah. This is what I do, I brought it to 2 electricians and said, how do you propose I solve my problem? I'm not an electrician or an engineer. And this is how either of them came up with a solution. So if you like the electric solution, sure, I'll bid it out to other electricians. It's up to you, how long you wanna wait.
Well, why would we have to wait? You're making it sound like it's gonna take months or
Give 30
years.
days.
That's it.
Sure.
Respond within 30 days in writing, either way. This way we'll know what we're up against.
Not a problem.
David? And then David.
I hope I'm not hearing that your definition of apples to apples is that everybody you go to solves the problem the same way. Because that isn't the real world. Some people may have better ways to solve the problem. I don't expect every bidder you go to come back with the exact same process. As long as they meet the statement of work and get the job done.
And that's essentially what happened here. Godly Electric came up with what I felt was an elegant solution, and it's his solution.
Yes.
He thought this through. You know, did the engineering for us.
So then legitimately, we can ask somebody else to bid on that same process.
I have no problem with
Or
that.
better. Sure. They don't have to actually go 1, 2, 3, 5. They could just present their own way of
What-
doing
what
the
they would-
exact same
What they would
work.
do is bid on what's written here and have option number 1. And then suggest how they would do it for less money,
Right.
right? So that so then we pick the one who has given us the best price
Mhm,
and option.
mhm.
But I think everybody has to bid on the verbiage that's down there
So,
for the
okay,
process.
so you think that what Godly has presented to us is the correct way to do the job?
Well,
Is
it's a
that what
reason,
I'm
it's a,
hearing?
no, it's a reasonable way,
Okay,
and now somebody can give us a better way,
Oh,
a
to
less
do-
expensive
to do the
way,
job.
and
Okay.
something different as option number one, option number two,
Okay.
and so forth.
that's better.
Jack?
Well, the same way with less money.
Yeah.
Big, could happen,
Exactly.
sure.
Well, the RFP template that the officers committee actually voted on a couple of years ago, that they, WPRF were gonna use it, actually not only allows, but encourages vendors to propose alternate solutions if they have a better solution, as long as they do it in a separate addendum.
Exactly,
Not-
that's it, addendum
so
number one or
keep the
option number
apples to
one.
apples.
Yeah.
Respond to what we're asking you for, but if you have an alternative that's better, we would appreciate hearing it.
Sure.
But it has to be, it's mandatory that it be in an addendum, not mixed in with the other apples.
Mhm.
So,
David's hand is.
David
but
Bowie.
UCO, you know, as always, even though they voted, the officers committee voted to use it, they've never used it, you know, but so I don't know what your officers committee votes mean, David, or, you know.
David, I'm
What do
sorry,
they
you had a
mean, what do they mean?
I think we already have done this when we accepted the bid for the cooling towers, because we went with a different solution and it worked out. The only thing I'd like to, and maybe this is already done, the electric poles, they've been inspected, that they are actually able to be used.
I've seen pictures of them, other than that, I trust Dan.
Okay,
But
I
should-
really
can we
think
go
they
down and
should
take a
have
peek at 'em?
some
Sure.
I
personal
think,
poles
let me
they can
interject.
inspect.
I believe that Boca decided to put in their own lights with LEDs and so forth.
Yeah.
And they took down the FP&L poles, and I guess they were told to keep them. They didn't want them back because we were putting our own
Yeah.
poles up.
They're laying in the yard.
Yeah, so they're laying there, a pile of concrete poles.
Sure, I
So,
mean, I understand that, but.
Pick two of the best ones, and
Sure. I mean,
it satisfies FP&L's requirements because it was an FP&L light.
How long were they up in Boca?
Well, I realize that, you know, they probably did upgrade to their poles, I understand.
Yeah.
You know, and just like many places still have wooden poles yet, and eventually they're going down, but just, you know, if they are there, if they weren't taking out correctly, you know, maybe there's some type of damage that we don't really know about.
right, in which case it wouldn't pass inspection.
So they'll be inspected before they're installed?
Well, I mean, I've only seen pictures of the things so far.
I'm getting a sniff of incomplete staff work here. I want you to notice at FPL, the standards have changed for hurricane resistance,
Right.
and they are changing out virtually all of those poles along Century Boulevard. The things they're putting in look like Seti's obelisk. They are huge and they're massive and they are sunk much deeper into the ground. Don't be so sure you're gonna get a chop
Right.
on an inspection by using a 10 or 15-year-old concrete pole, be it an FPL pole or not. They're not supporting those old poles. They're taking them down everywhere, and you see what they're putting in instead. But you can't afford those poles.
No, there's a however. However, they're running electricity
Yes.
and cable and
Right.
telephone and everything on those poles. So the amount of stress on
Much
the
greater.
poles that were there before is too high for our use. But as a one-armed floodlight, I think it's acceptable for us.
Yeah, but I could get an opinion from FPL.
Well, I'm sure the electrician
And they have to
would
make
know.
sure that there's enough equipment, because they did everything down Habit Hill Road, even to the repaving, because of the baseball fields.
I'm in the wrong place. I need a high chair.
I
Barbara?
need a higher chair. You know, Dan Cruz was in charge of all this stuff being done in Boca. And it would have been wise to talk to Dan and find out some stuff and that they took them down, why they took them down, the condition of them. And also, like David Bowie said, they have to be inspected before you spend all this money.
And before they're
That would
installed.
be, and if they meet code, if you have to get a permit for these, which I don't know, but if you do, I'm sure that they're gonna wanna know something about the lights, that's part of the code.
All right, I can get opinion from an FPL. That's not a problem. I'm going for extra bids anyway. I've got another month. Okay.
There seems like there are two different bids for the same thing. One, letting the company decide how they want to do it, just like in that first one.
Right.
And then an addendum to that, what would they provide us and how much it would cost if they put the pole, if we use our own poles? So we can get it both. If the poles are pass inspection,
Acceptable, yeah.
then you have
Okay.
two bids from the same company, one with the poles and one with their own design, and then you could decide which one from whoever is going to offer us the bids. And then you
Alright.
make the decision,
All right, so do we
use the poles or their design.
table for next month?
Sure.
All right, done. Okay, next item is holiday lighting. I thought we'd get an early start on this, not wait till Thanksgiving.
We could do it before the July.
Yeah. All right,
I would too.
this year I decided to price out the full boat, that's what we did 2 years ago. Spirals up the royal palm trees and the eaves. If the officers decide that they wanna back that down and go back to what we did last year, that's fine, that's, I'll just go back to the drawing board. But I started with what we had 2 years ago. First company I went to was Holiday Lighting Designs. This is the company that works for the clubhouse and does their lighting. They came in at $12,666. I also have a bid from another company, which I'm sorry it's not in the packet.
I don't know.
Yeah, the two together, the front and the back.
Yeah,
Oh,
all
okay.
together.
Thank you.
I also got a price from another company called Christmas Designs. I met them at the Focal West property.
Holiday designs.
I did not include this in the packet, I apologize, but they came in between, exact same work, they came in within pennies of each other. Yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. Once I had two prices from two vendors, my next problem was to solve reliable power to these things, because that's what caused us the problems 2 years ago. Again, I brought in Godly Electric. Asked them to estimate bringing reliable power to these royal palm trees. When I gave him a clue what I wanted, he said, sure, I can take care of that. Basically, he wants to make the length of extension cord as little as possible, not what we had the snakes going on the last time, which were a mess. While he was doing that, he asked if he could bid the entire job. Didn't occur to me that he would even want to, but I said, sure. Well, it came in $3,000 less than the other two vendors. Pretty much everything we need. Spirals going up all the royal palm trees, the eaves on the guardhouses. I learned a little bit from over the last two Christmases. One of the things we're looking for are good lights, not junk. 2 years ago, what was going up the trees was straight out of a 99-cent store. The boxes actually had 99-cent store tags on them. And Donald spent a lot of time up on a ladder changing tiny bus fuses in the rain. That's never happened to Donald again. What I've learned is that the standard for these lights are the IP standard. The highest waterproofing standard is IP68. The specs that Godly sent me, one is IP68, one is IP65. These are quality lights. They'll hold up to, you could throw them in the water, they'll still be lit. The question came up earlier, can these be permanent? Sure, if you guys wanna leave these spiral lights up permanently, that's fine, but we would have to schedule periodic retentioning of the spiral lights. This is to account for the swelling that happens during rainy season. Not a problem, it can be done. Learn that along the way as well.
And we shouldn't keep them up during rainy season
Jeff, it's up to you.
because there's no need for that
It's-
during it.
If we do, then we have to get more lights Because if the tree gets bigger, you're gonna have to,
Another string.
yeah, you have to have
Do
no
we
tree.
know how much the
Yeah.
electricity cost us last year to light all of these lights?
Last year, we didn't have any electric bill
Didn't have
because we
any.
hardly put anything up.
Well, how much did it cost?
The year before, I don't have a number for you, but these are LEDs, so the power usage would be incidental.
Yeah.
But no, I couldn't be able to give you an exact, other than comparing bill to bill over a year.
David, you have,
Being that the tree is a biological organism and the lights aren't, there's some maintenance involved. You kind of alluded to some of it. The tree grows, the leaves drop off, things happen. Who's gonna maintain the integrity of this installation?
Thank you.
People?
Thank you for
Same-
thank you for volunteering, David.
Not me.
Same people, the thinking here is that 2 years ago when we put them up, the retentioning wouldn't be necessary because it was a seasonal installation and we expect things to be dry in December. Didn't happen. We got a reverse rainy season that year and the trees swelled up. And the contractor that we used on my recommendation wasn't too responsive about getting over there and retentioning them. So we did have some damage to the tree, which upset me no end. If we wanna do this through a rainy season, sure, but we'd have to also add in some maintenance. So, money. Yes, Jack, sorry.
So,
Barbara and then
Oh.
Jack. Yeah, Barbara, yeah.
I just want to make sure everybody realizes these prices are rental prices,
They
am I
are.
right, Donald?
No,
Not-
no,
No.
actually,
It
we're gonna,
actually says we're gonna store them when we take them
you
down.
know, Godly's, we own these lights, they're ours.
Oh, with Gottlieb.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I meant holiday lighting is strictly a rental.
That's a
business.
rental, where Godly is gonna buy the lights and we're gonna own them, but we just have to store them, and
We have to store them.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah, that's a lot of lights to store.
But you have room in your unit, Barbara.
Oh, yeah, on my fourth unit, yeah, okay,
maintenance shop, Plymouth Laundry, I've got a spot set up for.
I see, but remember, you
Plymouth
also.
Laundry and light
You al-
storage.
Yeah.
Don't do
We
that.
have to get, what's his name back to
Donald?
finish the
Yes,
song.
When you have to store them, you don't know what can go wrong with storing them, okay? Plus, I remember when you ran out there in the rain and you ran out there late at night, the electric didn't work.
Getting zapped,
Well, and getting zapped, I don't think you wanna see that happen again.
Yes,
no,
we
I
do.
really
Yes,
don't.
yes, we
I don't
do.
think life appreciates it.
I wanna see him glow in the dark.
So actually then, these are not consistent, the bids, one is rental and one is purchasing, am I correct?
Yes.
Right, and the one that's purchasing is cheaper than the one where we're renting,
Well,
so,
that's not always the best for us either, I'm just saying they should be
I
compared.
think Jack was next and then
well,
John.
Barbara kinda asked the question, I was, trying to
Sorry,
understand.
Jack.
stole your
Sorry,
thunder.
Jack.
No, there's no reason to be sorry, it's good that you asked it, I mean, I'm trying to understand what we're paying for, and, the answer is like, on one or two, it's a rental, and on the other one, it's a purchase.
it's purchase, we're gonna own these things.
So,
Again,
Solves a
so
problem.
we have one
Two
bid,
different
again, we have
solutions
one bid for
To
somebody
solve a
that's.
problem.
solves a problem at less
You
money.
have two
We have one
solutions
bid.
to solve a problem.
We
What's
have
wrong
one
with
bid
that?
on a purchase.
You can put all the semantics on you want. We have two solutions to solve one problem.
Okay,
John, Barbara, and then
But
Phyllis.
my question is, there's only one proposal for a purchase. Is that correct?
yes,
Yes, obviously. What's the point?
Again, how many apples you want? I'm gonna get 5 more prices to own these
No,
things?
I can't vote for anything where you only get one proposal.
Don't.
No, too. Actually, I have 3, I just forgot to get it into the package for you, but it was so close in price that didn't matter.
John Gregg?
I don't see why we can't put them up, leave them up all year, turn them on all year. Get into the 20th century, find out what a maintenance contract costs us because you don't know this year if it's gonna be a rainy season in December, or next year it's gonna be a rainy season in December. You're still gonna have somebody come out,
Yeah.
check them out, okay?
Guess who that person is?
Yeah, well, no, I'm
It
talking about the
doesn't have to-
maintenance.
It shouldn't be you.
It shouldn't,
You're
that's
not
what
an
I'm saying.
electrician, for
The
God's
The maintenance
sakes.
contract on it, to do this and leave them up all year, turn them on all year. And let's have if you're gonna live in South Florida in a resort atmosphere, you ought to look like a resort
The
atmosphere.
solution to, the tightness is no different than my belt, basically. When it rains, I go out there and put my finger and if it feels tight, it's like time to call the man, get him retention.
Okay, Barbara's next.
Barbara?
Not to say you should get two different bids, David, but what I'm saying is, since the second bid is only, it's a small amount, then compared to the first bid, if we got a bid from that same company to just do a rental, it would be even cheaper than the price he gave us. And if you do a rental, like I know up by WPRF, they have a problem, they come out and they tighten it, you don't do it, you have a company do it, that's the way you do business.
My guess is with Godly Electrical, he's not looking to rent us anything.
All right.
He's not in that business.
That's right, and
Well,
and what
that's
I,
not his business.
that's not his business, but he is an electrician, and there should be a line item in here for maintenance. If he wants, he's giving us two very, very important estimates.
Right.
One for the street lights and one for the Christmas lights. And if he wants to get the jobs, he's gotta really step up to the plate. You're not an electrician, you have no business playing with those things, cause you can get killed, God forbid. But this
I
man.
almost did.
It was
Okay,
glowing in the
almost
dark.
don't count. But this is important, and there should be a line item here, if he wants us to purchase these, because he's an electrician, that there is a certain amount of maintenance that has to come with this.
Well, here's my question to you. You first have to decide whether you want to have these things year round or not. This is a seasonal installation. He's gonna take them off, gonna take them off. If you guys decide you wanna leave them on all year, it's a different story. We would just ask for how much.
Oh, this is
By the way,
seasonal.
By the way,
Yes.
this is for a seasonal installation. You're talking about. a
But
whole
if we
different
own them and they install them once and that's it.
That's it.
They're not gonna take them down every
Yeah.
season.
Then they
have
come
to
back
be
and
ours.
do maintenance on them.
Maintain them, leave them up and maintain them.
These are.
We're paying for all of
Let's say
this.
you remove one.
What we're doing here is talking about a whole different thing. If you guys want these things, guys,
But there's no charge for it.
if you want these things to be year round, then that would be a different item, right? What I brought you was a seasonal installation. Again, you guys decide what you want.
Jack and then
Barbara.
Barbara.
Thank you.
Okay, there's another bridge in San Francisco other than the Golden Gate Bridge. And I don't remember the name of it, I never heard of it till two years
Bay
ago.
Bridge.
Huh?
The Oakland Bridge.
Okay, so you're familiar with the fact that it's all lit up with LED lights now and it's, on a computer and it does all kinds of things? And they actually mentioned when I saw this on TV about 2 years ago, the cost of the LED lights to that bridge. If I could remember that number and I repeated it, you wouldn't believe it,
How low it is or how high
how
it is?
low it is.
Yeah,
It is
I
so-
would believe it.
It's like infinitesimal, the cost of these LED lights.
We're lighting up
There's a difference.
The very thing
trees that
Barbara
grow,
said
not a
2
bridge
minutes ago.
that stays
There's a difference here.
Damn
You're
right.
talking about an inanimate
Exactly.
bridge that doesn't change size versus a
Light
tree
shade.
that does.
It
Totally-
just changes.
Totally
sway.
different.
All right,
Let's
if
put
I
up a
could-
bridge.
If I could just finish,
Crazy.
that's one point, the cost is minimal. Number two, I'm in favor of purchasing these lights. I'm in favor of keeping these lights up all year round, like a resort community, does anybody think it's ugly, the palm trees down at City Place?
No, I really
The
love
lights
them.
on?
And they loved them when we had them here.
I know, and a lot of people always ask, why don't we have those lights? So
Twist that.
I'm in favor of all year round, I'm in favor of LED lights, I'm in favor of purchase.
What's
Get-
your
get us
objection?
Three bids, get three proposals.
Well, how about this? Since we're now spiraling off into year-round installation, why don't I ask Jose to just add on, let's call it quarterly retentioning of the and servicing of the lights.
Quarterly maintenance.
Yeah, quarterly maintenance.
Who's Jose, you one guy?
Godly.
Godly?
Yeah.
Well, don't you like anybody else? I mean,
Alright,
Like as many as you like.
three, I like three.
there's an old
That's what-
saying
That's what I was
about,
supposed to get here.
there's an old saying about the devil in the details. This may seem a very trivial issue, but there are people who know about this issue. Like the people who do it at the clubhouse regularly. I think it's more than retentioning. I think there are issues involved in maintaining, as Dominic said, this inanimate stuff on a living object. I mean, I've had brief chats with the people at Bimini Twist. They have a lot of this stuff. And the manager down there, a guy named Mark, said the maintenance is a pain in the butt. You need someone who knows what they're doing and is gonna do it, and what's that good? That's the cost, not the electricity. The electricity is trivial, we understand that. The cost of keeping this system in tip-top shape.
I think it pays.
I'm asked,
I think it's worth it.
I'm asked all the time, well, if Bimini Twist can do it, why can't we? Well, Bimini Twist is a profit generating
Of course.
business, and it's also an advertising device for them. I would submit that this is an advertising device for us as well, but we're not a profit oriented thing, so that's something we have to consider. We're not Bimini Twist, we're not a restaurant. This comes out of our bottom line.
But
I
to
do
ask,
see it.
but to ask for a quarter of the year to be checked, it may be more often than that, which is what I'm getting from what
Yeah,
David said
I-
about this thing being a
I
damn
tend to
nuisance.
agree.
They could be out there once a month, every 6 weeks, we don't know.
It depends on the
It
weather.
should be
Yeah.
his.
Yeah.
Barbara has her
Barbara's
hand up
next,
for a
and
while.
then-
Whatever way you go, I don't believe all year, I like it, but I don't believe all year is very smart because of the trees and the way they expand and the maintenance, which you have brought up a number of times to me, Donald, previous to this. But in this here bid for, from Gottlieb, let's say they take the lights down and restore them, correct? Then what do they charge to put them back up next year? Cause you're not gonna climb the trees, that's for sure.
That's why they should stay year round.
I didn't include this in the bid because I figured that's next year's price, but the number is $1,500.
1,500.
But that's also gonna have to include more lights. Right, as the tree grows an inch times 20 feet.
It grows an inch a year?
Well,
I don't think
I don't
so.
think they grow.
No.
No, but even if it, all right, say a half an inch, but half an inch over 20 feet is gonna be three feet more lighting.
We're not talking about length, we're talking
Ken?
about,
Girth.
Good,
I
Ken?
have a question, is wrapping the tree the only solution? There are projected lighting systems out today, that you can project a beam of light up the tree, and you don't have to wrap the tree.
That's what we have now on the,
Yeah.
I'm talking about not rinky-dink ones, I'm talking about, really high-powered projection systems that might cost less than this, and you don't have to wrap a tree.
yeah, nobody likes them, that's the problem.
yeah. Yes,
When we
Phil?
look at, nobody likes it.
I have a suggestion. I may be off base, but I have a suggestion. I'm going to bring in the cable contracts that we're going to be voting on. And regardless of who we choose, we're going to have extra money in our fund. And I think that some of that money, because it's going to be very sizable, should be put away for the beautification and the maintenance of the beautification
That's a good
of this village.
I agree.
That's a,
I
that's a
agree.
That goes to
marvelous
delegate
subject.
assembly, and I think everybody would agree to that.
Don't you think that's a
Yes.
good idea?
Of course.
Because either way, we're gonna have a chunk of bread.
It's a simple process to make a line item to do that. It can be done
Absolutely.
as part of the budget process.
Absolutely,
You
because
know,
either way, it's gonna
I
be a
agree.
lot of money.
The current $5,000 in
It's a
beautification
joke.
is a travesty.
It is,
Joke.
it is.
We spend that in our building.
It's a couple of orders of magnitude off.
We should have kept it
Yeah.
about 1,000.
Yeah.
No, but I think that should become,
That's the ultimate curb appeal, keeping this campus
absolutely,
just looking great.
absolutely. And and then we really have to redo that, well, the beautification, we know, but that's such an important thing, because when you talk curb appeal, and thank God, the numbers of the units are going up
It's the
now.
entrance to your
That's-
community, it's
This
so
has got,
important.
this has gotta be something that's important.
Aesthetics is number one.
Number one.
Curb appeal, curb
So
appeal.
am I hearing the
curb
sense of the
appeal.
room that we'd like to go year round with this thing and look into it?
I would like to make a motion to go year round.
Jack
I
has
second
his
the
hand
motion, I
up.
second
Jack
the
had his hand up.
But I agree with Jack that we should get at least another proposal so that we have something to compare with.
That's right.
It may be just to satisfy us
Sure.
and to satisfy potential
Is
criticism.
this the company that the clubhouse uses, that Zenville uses,
Yes.
Godly? No one?
Yeah, well, that's why I got started in June and.
They don't,
Can I just say
It's
one more
holiday,
thing?
don't they, or no?
You know, I think you guys are making much more out of these, this growth of the tree. I mean, you know, we're talking about the diameter of the tree. I mean, they're not gonna grow that much every year. And, you know, if they,
Sorry, Jack, I don't mean to interrupt. The tree can be expected to expand seasonally by 1/3. That's what rain does to a royal palm tree. It's a piece of grass essentially.
by 1/3,
1/3.
I don't know what royal palms you've been looking at.
This
1/3?
This comes from our arborist who takes care of our trees for us. Expect those trees in the rainy season to expand in girth by 1/3. It's significant expansion and contraction. That's why we're
so
talking.
when they contract, the lights are gonna fall down.
That's right.
Exactly, it goes the other way as well.
That's exactly right.
It's unfortunate that we keep calling them trees, they're not trees.
They're not, they're pines.
They're in essence a form of grass,
Uh-huh.
believe it or not. And there's an awful lot we don't know about these things. 1/3 I agree with, there's variation. There are these self-cleaning things, you gotta be careful, you just can't wrap those lights up over the
That's
the
right.
fronds.
Yes. Nothing on the green.
So that's my concern, when you said Jose will retension the line, I think you need
No, an electrician.
someone who really understands this process. All right, to do the maintenance, because my guess is it's more than retensioning the lines.
Okay.
And over time, a bulb will blow out. I hope it's not like the old days where one bulb blows out and the whole string dies.
They're in parallel, not series.
Yeah.
Series is an awful way.
Has Godly done this before?
I don't think so.
That's another thing we have to look into.
Yeah, the
But no matter
installation,
who you use,
We
they
need
have
a
to have a
company that- we need a
bucket truck
company
in
that
order
knows
to
how to
And
climb.
he, and that he has.
Yeah. So that's a prerequisite.
Sure.
Barbara's hand is up again.
Oh, I thought it was up there permanently.
It almost is, you're right.
Starts her shirt
You know,
today.
That's why we're
Even
here.
if you go around at the holiday time, you will see all these places, how nice they live. Told Donald what I've seen, he's seen them. But then afterwards, they take them down. They don't keep them up all year round. It doesn't appeal all year round to a sophisticated community. But your front sign is what brings your people in. And that's where you should concentrate on some of your money. But if you get some kind of a lighting company who puts it up for 4 months, they are responsible to come and adjust and fix
Yes.
if they blow out, if they have
That's
to be
correct.
tightened. You
That's
don't need maintenance, they are responsible in their contract.
And they've done it
So should
before,
be
more
in
than
their
once.
contract.
So you're
I
more
know they do it up in
So you're more
WPRF.
sophisticated if you only have them up seasonally, is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's right.
So it sounds like the question I need to know from you guys is, do you wanna go year round or do you wanna go seasonal?
Year round is a lot of maintenance, more
I
than you
agree.
can imagine, you're only listening to half of it.
you've got a motion on the floor for year round, do
Do
we
we?
not?
I made a
Yes.
motion.
Jack
seconded it. And we got a second.
Now, this is not just Haverhill, this is at Okeechobee also, don't forget.
Yes, both.
This is for both entrances.
Okay,
Now, what all does that entail? You got a maintenance contract along with
Not yet.
everything?
We
No,
have,
I'm-
no,
We
this
don't
this
have
is
the bid
both
yet.
for Okeechobee
You're making a
Boulevard.
motion for lights year round,
I did,
both?
okay, one,
I did, but but not necessarily with this company,
No,
because
not,
this company has never done this
no,
before.
we're just saying, put the lights up, we'll get a
Right.
company,
Yes,
okay.
yes.
Should,
Companies.
should the motion,
And there has to be a line item for maintenance.
right, should the motion pass, I go back to the drawing board and get a new set of bids that includes maintenance.
Right,
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
absolutely.
specific of what that maintenance is.
Phyllis, would you
This is a whole
give
new
me the,
thing.
the words that?
Okay, I make a motion to wrap the Okeechobee Boulevard entrance and the Haverhill Road entrance in the holiday lights to be installed on it and kept up year round. We will own the lights and we will storage the lights
Would you,
if we need to.
would you accept the modification, clear white lights?
Yeah.
Clear white, yes, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, that's another,
Yes, clear white
I
lights,
neglected to
not
tell
the
you that.
color, cause the color makes it cheap.
What about putting them back up the following year?
No, to maintain on a year-round basis.
Year-round installation solves my storage
Yeah,
problem. They're
on a
being-
year-round
They're being
basis.
stored on the royal palm trees.
Yeah, but there's no, this
Right,
is,
well, that's a whole different, you're
Yeah,
bringing me a new
but-
piece of work.
but the point is that there's a zero charge for storage, so that's not a big deal. But that's my motion.
I second it.
No, I think Jack seconded it.
I call the question. I call the question.
Jack seconded it. I can't write that fast.
But you do very well.
Okay.
You're online, so you know, you don't have to really take notes, do you? You know, you're online.
A big deal, and we're gonna have enough.
Okay, here we go. David Israel,
Yes.
Ed Black,
Yes.
Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Bob Marshall,
Yes.
John Hess,
Yes.
Jack Adams.
Yes.
David Boas.
I'm gonna say no, and I'm gonna give you my reason. I'm not even convinced that we need these lights.
Okay, good.
Good.
Don Bonaja, yes. Phyllis Richland.
Yes.
And Diana Rose.
Yes.
Okay, so we have 2,
You
4,
forgot me again.
6, 8, 9.
We used to forget but Diana,
You
now we're
forgot, you forgot somebody.
John Gregg,
Yes.
All right, so you guys gave me a new piece of work, so I gotta get to it.
Okay,
Happen for
that's what
next month.
happens.
All right.
David,
I know you have nothing to do, but
That's what I thought too.
I think Ken said something interesting. What we have out there is a low wattage floodlight.
yes.
Now, what we're gonna install is a string and they're points of light, bright points of light. Maybe it's worth looking at a projector that can do exactly that. I know of projectors, but they're lasers and I think it would be a little dangerous out there on the road. But I wonder if there are projectors that won't break the bank that would simulate that points of light effect going up the trunk.
I played around with this last year.
What do you do to the guardhouses?
Most of the stuff I looked at was junky, but one of the things that I thought of was we have the existing spotlights that we put in last year, the LEDs.
Right.
I said, let's gel them in different colors. So we got gels and we capped them. Fortunately, there wasn't enough lumens to go through the filter, so it was too dark.
The wattage is too low.
The wattage was too low.
It just, look, this is number 10 on your top 3 list, just think about it. Maybe you've got some
Is that
input.
your hand up, Barbara?
It's my right hand.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I know, I know,
switch hands. I just wanna make sure, because I know when I was involved with Donald with lighting out there previously, all I ever heard is, our electric is no good, they blow out, I have to go out there, I have to reset them. Is the electric end of this going to be solid? I don't wanna hear later, guys, you know, I'm running out there all year trying to fix the lights.
That's the initial
absolutely-
thing that's
Yeah,
being
that's the
done.
number one thing.
No matter
I
what,
start everywhere.
whether we rent or buy or whatever,
going to
the
do that.
electricity is gonna be repaired and
We
maintained.
haven't gotten
And that's how we got the Godly Electrical.
Yeah.
I brought him out there and said, I need reliable power here. I don't wanna be out here once resetting a GFI. You figure it out, but this is what I want.
because there hasn't been any electrical guy that you brought in that has been able to solve that in the last 2 years. That's why you didn't have him up last year on the trees.
Exactly right. So
Okay.
that was,
Just
that
bringing attention to
that was the
information.
primary
Thank
thing
you.
that brought us to this particular contractor.
Okay.
Because he has to solve this problem for us. As far as the lights themselves, you can't really tell on these lights on this picture here, but they're pretty nice. There's almost like a circuit board down a strip.
They were LED on
These are the lights that,
WPRF.
These are the lights that actually Fausto recommended 2 years ago. These are pretty good lights. But anyway, like I said, whole new piece of work. I'll bring it back next month.
Left
So we
hand.
have a motion, did we pick a vendor? No.
No.
No, he's gonna
So
bring
it's
it
just-
back next month.
So we're gonna look at it.
Yeah.
You guys are going a different direction, so.
Barbara's hand is up
One
again.
more time. Are these encased lights?
In case.
Yes,
No.
well,
They're just
Hey,
bulbs.
excuse me, let him answer.
IP65 means encased, yes, they're
That
waterproof.
means like encased, not in tubing.
No, not in tubing, I
Oh,
can,
that's all I'm checking, but they look disgusting.
Oh, that's ugly.
Okay.
no, there's strip lights.
That's like for a
Okay.
bumper.
But as far as encasement and waterproofing, you can throw them in the water, they'll still be lit.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Alright, on to the next thing. This is federal maintenance, walkways and bus stops. I roll out the property, all walkways and bus stops once a month. I look for the worst tripping hazards, and I bring them to you once a month. I don't do them all, I wait until they're so bad that I catch my toe.
You fixed the one outside?
Oh yeah, it was on the list, it got done. Alright, so federal maintenance. First job is East Drive, Walton D. Pictures on the back of that sheet. I don't see any root issues here, but it's pretty bad crack and it's going off in 3 directions.
This is a walkway?
This is a walkway. Yeah, we gotta get on it.
Hold on. We moved a long time ago that these little cracks and tripping hazards would just be done upon detection.
That's what I heard.
Yes.
Isn't that what we said a
Yeah,
year ago at
yeah.
least?
This is updating, I'm just bringing you, it's before I bring it to David for signature. This is now the infrastructure committee, and this is infrastructure, I want these guys to see this.
$750, you could sign up on that.
So yeah, I mean, could I bring you these jobs and not show these guys that? But
$6,000.
why?
I'm trying to tell
That's
you.
what I got these guys for. I'm making them do their work. And earn their paycheck.
Barbara's hand
Barbara,
is
again.
up.
Left hand or right hand?
Left.
Doesn't
Okay,
matter.
Barbara?
We did, David, you're right, we gave permission to do these bus stops a while ago. And it was supposed to be done by federal maintenance, which does asphalt, am I correct?
Yes.
Okay, but in the interim, some bus stops have been done in cement. That I had questioned a number of times, without permitting or anything, they were done in cement, which is definitely going to crack also. So now, all of a sudden you did cement, now we're going back to asphalt, is there any consistency here?
Barbara, you asked me this on previous meetings,
I did.
and my answer is the same. It's a judgment call based on what mostly if there's a
So
root
it's
there.
your judgment call what to use, am I correct?
Indeed, and I'll explain,
Okay,
and
that's
I
fine.
will explain what that means. Any paving address is going to be susceptible to cracking, especially if there's a root. If I think that down the line, a root's gonna get back in, eventually it will. Concrete is more resistant, it'll last longer.
Yeah,
If
but it's being put down on soil. Is there rebar? As long as,
Wire mesh, right?
Mesh.
And at any rate, today I don't have any concrete work for you, this is all asphalt work. Anyway, that's,
Well, are we
that's,
talking
I
about
think there's a
$750 here?
no,
There's a second
6,000.
reason for
Well,
using,
total.
for using
Somebody said
asphalt.
$750.
Yeah, that's what this one is. but
We're
there's
planning
also-
on consolidating the number of bus stops.
Right.
Reliant on the study by the Transportation Committee.
anyway,
If we abandon a bus stop and it's concrete, it was really a waste of money. It's very easy to break up asphalt and
cheap.
throw down sod and it's voila, it's gone.
I agree with you, Don, and I agree, because originally it was said we were going to use federal maintenance, it was approved by the officers,
Let me write that down
and
with
this
an
committee to use asphalt. But in the interim, some cement has been used, and I don't think that judgment call should be made if it was approved for asphalt only, what I'm trying to say, that's all.
Okay.
Since I agree with everything you said, Don.
Alright, so getting back to our current work. Chatham U, North Drive, if you look at the back page, this patch of dirt needs to be widened and paved. Pretty self-explanatory. Next job after that is a bus stop at Waltham A on East Drive. Now, this bus stop, obviously the tripping hazard is apparent. I am being very conservative when it comes to doing repairs on bus stops because I'm aware that some of them may be eliminated. However, given the state of this thing and the fact that it is on a cutout on the main road, I'm taking a guess that this won't be an eliminated bus stop. We're doing it in asphalt, and if it turns out it is, then we bust up the cheap asphalt and put down sod, and that's it. Meantime, just look at it. This is the cracks that break grandmother's back. Next job is, this is interesting. This is the walkway between Stratford A and the medical building. Now, the Stratford parking street is not designed to be a walkway, but it's used as a walkway, and there's gonna be no stopping that. My guess is years ago, this little winding path was put in exactly where they wore out the dirt. They're using this as a shortcut to get to the clubhouse, and that's not gonna change. What people should be doing is crossing the street and using the sidewalk, but they don't. What I'd like to do here is widen this walkway, move it a little to the left without affecting the swale, which is important, and straighten it out. Also, if you look to your right, there are two ficus bushes there. Those bushes don't belong to me, but when nobody's looking, I intend to take them out.
A little louder, they don't hear you on Okeechobee.
Yeah, no. It's an open secret. I'm ripping them out. What I'm trying to do here is make it a little safer for these people, because they're gonna keep doing it. And there are cars coming out of this medical building parking lot, and I wanna make the sight lines as obvious as I want them to see the cars coming. Also, this little snaky walkway is out of code. It's about 3.5 feet wide. It needs to be 5 feet wide. Straight is better than curves. This code involving curves too.
So are you gonna need permits for this too?
I'm gonna call it a repair of an existing. Am I altering it? Yeah. But I'm also bringing it into code compliance. Frankly, none of this is to code, because this isn't supposed to be a walkway to begin with. This is a legacy, short of putting up a fence, you're not gonna stop these people from using this as an ad hoc walkway. Alright,
So all of these jobs come to $6,050, is that
All in.
what we're talking about?
all in. And I made them separate because I wanted you guys to consider them separately, and if there are any you think that you don't wanna do, or don't want me, you can pull it out of the pack. Last one is a bus stop on Somerset I and South Drive. Again, this is a tripping hazard nightmare. As you can see, it is on a cutout, so I don't expect that this will be one of our eliminated bus stops, but it could happen. And if it is, we're doing it in asphalt, not the end of the world, bust it up and sod it over. If there are any individual ones that you guys have issues with or questions about, that's why I made them separate.
So this is again, only one proposal?
Yeah, we don't bid out, we've more or less decided that Federal Maintenance is our contractor for this work, the officers of Hugo.
Oh.
Yeah, I actually have clearance to bring these jobs individually to David as emergency work, but since we're now the infrastructure bid committee, I'm bringing it to you. I want you guys to
No,
really
the bid-
take a look at this.
As I understand, the bid committee is supposed to get three proposals.
This is now the bid/infrastructure committee.
Oh, so you changed all the rules?
I didn't. Who did? Dominic, can you answer that question for me,
No.
please? How do we become the bid/infrastructure?
No, that wasn't the
Because
question.
everything we talk about is infrastructure. What have we talked, other than infrastructure this
Sure,
morning?
so why not bring it here?
So that they're related, and I think that combining the two, we knock it out in 2 hours or whatever, and instead of meeting 2 different times.
No, but the question is, how do we get to where we're only getting one proposal from a vendor, from one vendor at the bid committee?
Well, I feel that Donald has had a track record with federal maintenance, and
That precedes me.
Yeah.
Again, this is emergency work. I normally didn't bring this to you guys, but now that you're the bid infrastructure committee, why not bring it to you?
Barbara, your hand isn't up?
Pick them apart,
No,
look
it's
at 'em.
over her mouth.
Halfway up, covering my mouth so I don't say something wrong.
Uncover it and
I have
try
to
it.
say it.
Yeah, here, there's the
I
hands
have
up
to
now.
say it.
Hands
Come
up.
on,
You know,
bring it on.
I think you have to do the bus stops. You've been given permission to do the bus stops. They agreed on federal maintenance, they gave you the okay to do the bus stops, and that's it. But emergency, please, everything is always an emergency, Donald. Just do them. Don't say it's emergency. We're not trying to stop it. God.
Again, I'm bringing you this stuff more or less to let you know what I'm doing every day. It's informative. And I also separated them out. I'm also aware that there are some bus stops here, and the chair of our transportation committee is here. So this is your time to ask what the hell I'm doing around here.
Oversight person.
Oversight, yes, Dave.
I like that you bring these here, because if you're on the bid committee, we're on TV,
Right.
and somebody says something to you, how comes this isn't fixed, or why aren't you doing this? And I can say, well, I did know about this, and this is what's doing, we're going on a project month by month or whatever. So I think it's a good thing to bring these in.
It is a good thing.
It's also an additional level of accountability that should be in place. You guys should be asking me questions. Why the hell are you doing that, Donald? What are
It's
you
in the budget, it's been approved, go for it.
done?
That's right. It's-
So no motion
You
needed,
know what?
but this, I'm calling this an update.
No, but you're right, we don't need a motion, but once again, for all of us on the committee, at least we're informed of what's going on. If someone asks us, well, what do you guys do, or
Right.
what's my money going for? We can say, well, we did
There it
this or that, and we're all informed about it, and we don't look stupid as we're talking to somebody
It's
else.
better to know than
I'm
not
sure
to.
we do.
David Sand?
And I know you guys get asked all these questions, and it's nice to be able to have the answers.
David?
Virtually every one of these small jobs is a potential trip and fall. You wanna talk about the ultimate cost of delay, go talk to our insurance chair.
And cold.
Because someone falls, they're hurt, there's a payout, and guess where it gets reflected? You may not connect it, but it gets reflected in the premiums and the deductibles. Alright?
And we had one that rates 75,000.
I could swear we sat here on these little jobs and had a vote. that Donald would go ahead on trip and fall
Yes.
That's why I said it's in the
Issues.
budget, do
We
it.
did.
as detected,
That's,
right?
Um,
So,
I do have.
This is just an informational stream.
Yeah, and I do have the opportunity to bring these all at once because the reason I get these prices out of federal maintenance is because I give them a day's work at a time at least. So I am bunching up the jobs. If it's really egregious, then I'll bring them in instantly. But if I can bunch them up and save little bucks that way, then why not bring it to you? You're here. All right,
Barbara, your hand was up.
yeah, I'm just saying that Donald has been doing a good job with the bus stops. Nobody's saying, David, that it has to be approved, nothing, it has been approved.
That's what.
He's only bringing it to us to tell us what he's doing. But don't, all I said in the, previously was, just don't say it's an emergency. It's done on an ongoing basis to fix the village,
Gotcha.
period. He's doing the best he can.
they were all emergencies to Donald. All right, look, we're on to the next thing, which is the Century Village sign.
Again,
Again. Just to give you a little background, when I took,
You
this
might,
was-
you might as well quit, Barbara's hands up.
I want you to see me, Donald.
I'm gonna give you a little background before we go to discussion. This was my first project when you guys hired me. This thing wasn't working, I took it apart, I got an electrician in, I got the lights back on, I changed out the translucent plexiglass on the inside, which had been painted for some reason. Got the thing painted,
The story,
waterproof.
can I insert that? We had two bulbs out, and I asked the maintenance man to change the bulbs. He had previously painted the lettering blue with blue paint, so when the bulbs went in,
Yeah,
they reflected brush strokes.
yeah,
So
So bad.
brilliantly, he said, well, to eliminate the brush strokes, I'll paint the thing black on the inside so they won't show. So the light stayed inside, which is,
so even
it was
after,
glowingly indoors, but nothing.
even after I cracked the thing open, got the electrician in, found the dead rat that was causing the short, got the thing lit again, the light wouldn't come out of the box because it was painted on both sides. So anyway, I got that fixed, got it painted, got it planted, got it back to what it was originally supposed to do. What Bobby wants to do at this point is beautify it without spending a lot of dough.
But you forgot to tell people, since you got it fixed, someone came along and addressed it by hitting it with a car.
Yeah, the car could, it got nicked by an Oldsmobile. You knew it was gonna happen. I put the work in and somebody hit it. So there's a little bit of a dent on one side. What Bobby's proposing to do here is beautify it and also make it a little easier to see from Okeechobee Boulevard. Rose Sign proposed to paint the bottom of the monument a cardinal color.
monument, no.
That's what it's called, it's a monument sign. The bottom part is called a plinth. He wants to paint the plinth a cardinal color, in this case he used
Why
blue.
don't we give it to Barbara Vera, it'll do it for nothing.
Well, that's house painting, I don't see a lot of artistes here. This is, anyway, the point, the idea here is to- by putting that band at the bottom, it'll be easier to see from the road, more noticeable. And
Not
I-
at night,
I think
No,
it
no,
probably
Not at
would.
night, that's right.
Not at night.
no, you won't see it.
Could I highlight it with 2 LED spotlights at the bottom? Yeah. Barbara actually mentioned that the other day, definitely doable, there's electric there.
Her hand is up.
Yeah, I'm gonna, before I get to Barbara, sorry, Barbara, I know your arms.
That's all right, what
I,
are you doing?
I know they hurt,
What
but
are
it's
you
good
doing?
exercise. I also mentioned to Bobby that if the committee doesn't like blue, not a big deal, because all you have to do is take out these 2 plexiglass inserts and put any one of 72 colors that plexiglass makes, including magenta, if you like. It doesn't even have to match, it's up to you guys, I don't do color.
Barbara?
I don't know, is he done?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay, I talked to Bobby, and I happened to see this on the database, thanks to David, and I said, you must be kidding. We're going to invest $1,400 into more garbage. People want this sign, so it's nice. Now, we know there's a problem. We don't wanna go to code, we don't wanna have to try to get permits, we wanna keep it in the same size it is. But nothing says we can't change the material, am I right, Dom? So, I called Bobby and said, listen, why don't you call Edgar Santos, he'll come for nothing. Give you some ideas, you can put granite with pin signs and lights, there's other things you can do. And we'll keep the cost down, maybe you'll pay $3,000, or they have $5,000 in the budget, I'm sure they can spend it. But now I called Dan Cruz and I said, I heard they're changing all the signs in Boca to make them more appealing. And he's supposed to send me, well, I told him to send to Bobby and me copies of what they're doing, who they're using. Now, if you have some imagination for a minute, same size sign we have now. Do not move the sign, do not make it bigger so we don't have to get any kind of things. This is just to give you an idea of a flagstone. Don't go by what you see. Try to envision Century Village in pin letters with lighting, okay? Don't go by the background. We have to get ideas. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what you can do. These are letterings that they have lights behind the letterings, just to give you an idea, not to look just like this, but you can get other people to do
How about
it.
if we got Barbara Vera to put a sheet that says laundry underneath there or something to that effect? You know, let him do a painting at the bottom,
Yeah, that would be really nice if painting
Yeah,
at the bottom,
right.
yeah, I'm sure.
whether he paints flowers or whatever and.
Yeah, put some fake flowers there,
We would have to find out, affordable dentures.
but don't go by that, you
I
know what
know.
I'm saying.
What I'm
please.
thinking is,
Good work.
we are gonna need permits for this type of enhancement.
Excuse me,
Not if you're
not you
repairing.
will. If you're repairing, am I right, Dominic?
Right, yeah.
I'm going to Dominic,
I
and
understand
checked
a
with
repair
code.
is different, but some of these are not repairs.
No, you're not, it's trying to figure it right to the sign we have. What Bobby wants to do is put new aluminum on the bottom, painted blue, and leave the top the way it is. I'm gonna tell you, this committee should not pass something like this.
I would never vote for
And if it came from
this.
the beautification committee, I'd like to know who's on it and when the vote was taken.
Bobby,
Thank you,
rest of the committee hasn't been meeting.
thank you, that's
We
what I'm.
Is there a
haven't-
committee?
I'm on a committee, haven't been in meetings.
This is what I'm asking you
Right.
to.
The less money you spend on doing something
No one
below the
has, voted
horizon,
on anything.
the better off you are.
Yeah.
No one's looking down at it as they drive by, it's the height of the sign. So Century Village is fine, it's what you're doing down here, the less expense you spend on
Do
it.
you still have the renderings you made years
He
ago?
can't do that,
I-
I have it.
I'm not saying to do
Well, it's
it,
the
I'm
blue is an
saying
eye
just
catcher.
to look at it, because some of the renderings were gorgeous.
But this is what I looked at, his rendering, cut it small and make it fit to that sign without the post on the side
Yeah,
and all.
because some of them were gorgeous.
It can be done, but what I'm saying is Dominic really did a great job on what he did on that, and we have it. But what I'm saying is get people who do this, they're redoing all their signs in Boca. I mean, just call up Dan Cruz, someone, I told Bobby, and say, Dan, can you help me out? He'll be willing to help her out. Edgar said he's busy, but he's willing to come and give ideas. They have where they put granite with pin letters and lights
Mhm,
behind it. But
So who's gonna make
I
this
was-
happen?
I was on this beautification committee about 4 or 5
We have
years
to get
ago
the
when we
beautification
started,
committee.
excuse me?
I beg your pardon.
And, we've bounced around anywhere from 25 up to $60,000 trying to
yeah.
come up with something, and everybody hollered, it's too much, it's too much, it's too much. We don't wanna waste the money, we just need a sign we can see. Well, there's nothing wrong with seeing this sign. Our main sign should be at Haverhill, that's our main entrance, this is the back door. And people come along there, you've got two other signs on either side of our street that are humongous, that catch your eye before this one will. And we can't build nothing here. They looked at, well, let's move it closer to the street. DOT ain't gonna let you do that. But they tried it anyway. You can't make it any higher because it's already set. So just something, everybody that's coming to Century Village knows where it's at. And I think this sign would be just fine. It's clean, it's neat, you can read it and you can see it from the street.
But let me
And-
ask you this question. If we're looking to enhance the entire entrance to Okeechobee and to Haverhill, and then to leave this dinosaur there, once we're lighting up the trees and lighting up the front, how could you just have this sign? It's like out of place.
Well, this-
But if we did left the sign the way it is and just enhanced around it
Well, I think
with
what-
some lights
with
or
what
some
we got-
plantings,
It's,
I don't think that's gonna be a
I
problem.
think we're looking at just painting it, making it so it'll stand out. A few extra lights probably wouldn't hurt anything, but why sink a whole bunch of money into it until you get the rest of the stuff done too? You're looking at, okay, I see a picture of a grandiose sign and all this other stuff. Well, all this other stuff ain't getting done either.
Okay,
So let's do
so,
it.
but this all has to be part of what the beautification committee is going to be doing. If they feel that this is important and that the lighting is important and the money is gonna be in the budget, then I feel that this is what the beautification committee has to
But right-
concentrate on,
but right
cause
now,
that's why it's called beautification
We have to
committee.
deal with what we have in the budget right now, not what we're looking at happen down the road maybe. If we can, you still have to make it, palatable to people to come here in the first place.
Absolutely, I agree.
And this is a better sign than what we have up there for right now, and if people see that you're making an attempt to make it nicer, it definitely helps. But, and you wanna give examples of going down the road and look at these signs, we got some marvelous signs down there, I want you to drive beyond that sign, see what you're paying for a place, 500,000, 250,000, 300,000. You come in here, you're paying 20, 30,000. So, you kinda gotta weigh up what you're dealing with here
So
too.
this is a $30,000 sign.
Pardon
Is that
me?
what you're saying?
No,
This,
no,
oh,
I'm saying that you can't put a sign out there that's gonna cost you $100,000.
yeah,
and
but
the
then we're
people
not
in here
even
aren't gonna-
discussing
aren't gonna buy it.
$100,000.
No.
We're just discussing enhancing what we have.
Barbara, John Gregg, then Dave Israel, and then back here.
What they did in the past on the committee is because they left it in different people's hands. They didn't realize about code, they didn't realize about Florida Turnpike coming in. We have invested a little bit here to the sign, a little bit there to the sign, now another 1,400 to the sign, and we still have the same disgusting sign.
piecemeal.
That's
I
not
agree.
appealing.
I agree.
I'm sorry, but if this committee feels
I
that that
agree.
sign is appropriate for this village, but that's up to them. I'm just telling you, there's options. You gotta bring the right people in to give you prices. If you tell them my budget is 5,000 or 10,000, but 100,000 is ridiculous because they went way overboard. It can be done for much less, John, just like anything else can be done and still look nice.
John Gregg?
I'm just gonna say that it's 2017, not 1969,
Thank you.
okay? I don't want people to think that Century Village is going down the tubes by not updating itself, you know? If you drive by Okeechobee, you see the sign. It's disgusting as far as I'm concerned. It needs to be fixed. It needs to be upgraded. Because if it doesn't get upgraded, it's like everything else. It gets pushed to the side. Let's push it to the side. The next thing you live in a rundown
It's your
place.
father's Oldsmobile.
That's right. You
It's
got
like an
it.
old suit of clothes.
If you don't update and remodel, people tend to think, oh, that place is,
There's
That's
nothing
what the
going
rest
on
of the
back.
village looks like.
that's right.
David?
It's
We're-
aesthetics,
We're
it's
so
aesthetics.
far spun off from the mission of this committee. This is beautification. This is finance, because if you want to do some of these things,
Next year, budget.
you can't put a $5,000 line item in and it's just a joke. What do you expect from the committee with a $5,000
Not much.
restriction? Should be at least 50, maybe even more.
No.
But-
They all-
It's not for the sign, this is for the whole village.
Oh.
Beautification is for the whole
That's
village.
exactly my point.
And there hasn't been a major effort here, well, since Sandy Cohn and a few others that worked with her. And you can thank them for some of these beautiful cocoa plums and the like. So why don't we put this where it belongs? I don't think, well, I don't know, you can take a vote on this. It's sleek and clean, but it's kinda
Grungy.
blah,
You
dated,
got it,
yeah, scrungy.
outdated before it even
But-
gets done.
I think we could do better than this,
Absolutely.
Everybody thinks that.
but not for $100,000
No,
better.
no,
right?
no way.
Remember, when that sign was placed, there was virtually nothing blocking it. That stood out like a tombstone. None of that stuff that's out.
Like a monument.
Cemetery village, that's what you need a tombstone for.
None of that stuff that's out there now was there. You remember?
There was no Citibank and there
No,
was no,
exactly.
nothing, there was nothing.
Also, John, well, on this, John mentioned 1969. In 1969, Okeechobee entrance was the service entrance. Trucks were not allowed in the main entrance. So they weren't looking to make this easily seen from the road. This is where the Seacrest guys went in and the moving vans came in.
But the perception now is that Okeechobee is the
Yes.
main entrance.
Yes, I always thought
I
that.
mean, that's
Especially,
it.
It's not.
especially with the traffic that goes down
Yeah,
Okeechobee every day, it's probably
It's right
85,000
off the
cars.
turnpike. I mean, you take one look and there we are, I mean,
Bumper to bumper every day.
but that's what the perception is now.
Is this sign able to be raised, like say,
Mm-mm.
9 inches or 10
It
inches?
can only be 8 feet high.
10 feet high.
Can't raise
10
it,
feet.
you can't move it.
What you see is
No,
what you're
one
allowed to
at a
have.
time, one at a time. What?
What you see is what the county will allow us to have. No more
It
height.
can't be any
10
higher
feet,
than
yeah,
it
they
is
can
now.
move it up 2.
We thought of
Two
that.
more feet up they can go, that's it, without any problems.
I think we said we could put
All right,
one of
so-
those pineapples up top if we
Yeah, that's
wanted,
about
and we
right.
talked about that.
I just wanna say this. Personally, I wouldn't have any problem with paying $5,000 for a base that would, that this sign would sit on. As an interim, as an interim. I'm not saying this is the perfect solution. This is a path, but, if somebody has a better idea, that's fine. A base, $5,000,
You gotta get prices, Jack, from the right people, listen to me.
I'm not, yeah, of course. I'm not saying.
Harry, she's gotta
Once
wait.
again, it isn't part of our purview anyway. Yes, go ahead.
I would like to make a motion to send this to a fully staffed beautification committee and let the men and women in that committee do the research, come back with something other than this blue thing.
Something that's aesthetic,
Yeah,
Appealing.
filling.
Just send it back to the beautification committee then.
I think so.
Sounds like a plan.
Since we can't seem to get off this subject. Dominic,
Yes, sir.
would Spraycrete work on this base?
Sure. Yeah, sure. I mean, our parks is, will.
It's not bad looking and it sure wouldn't be expensive.
We're talking about the Rymar stuff, like,
Yeah, exactly.
The flake looking stuff.
That flakes.
Yeah.
I have it in my association, it's
What's gonna be done
flaking.
to repair the wall at
Haverhill.
Haverhill. Two layers of stucco and it's bricks or masonry, which is what they did at down the road.
Like Fouts
Cypress
Fieldstone.
Cypress Lakes, that's all
Cypress
make
Lakes.
believe stone, yeah, you could do
The
something.
stone would look better than brick.
Yeah, yeah.
This
Oh,
really,
definitely.
it really needs to go back to
Yes,
beautification.
that's what it has.
And beautification has to be given a reasonable budget.
You have a motion to do that.
Is there a staff in that committee?
One person.
Oh, that's bad.
Yeah, well, we
I know what that's
we can
like.
get them back. so.
Actually,
But
two.
you're on it.
I'm on it too.
Okay, who made the motion?
Phyllis, could we volunteer for beautification, me and Barbara?
Why not? She's volunteering, Barbara.
I think,
That's
Ed
okay.
Black seconded.
That can be done from, with a computer, even if I'm away, no problem. And you have a phone, don't you? Yeah.
fully staffed beautification,
11:26. Man, we've kicked the heck out of this morning.
Yeah.
fully staffed.
Okay, so the motion is, to present to the beautification committee for further study with a reasonable budget,
A fully staffed,
fully staffed.
Let's make let's get
At least 5.
yeah, at least 5 people.
let's fill out an application.
Dominic,
I'm
are you
sure
on
she,
that
I'm
committee?
sure she has people on her.
But I
Would
know
you,
she-
would you,
Yeah.
you wouldn't mind being advisor?
Not at all,
The
no.
others never show up.
Stewart's on it.
Or if they do,
Yeah,
or if they do, they talk the agenda right into the ground and nothing ever gets decided because.
Oh, we'll get something
Then
done.
you got 5 people.
We'll get something done.
okay,
All
shall
right,
we,
we gotta fill out an application.
so let's take a vote on the motion. David Israel?
Say the motion again. I
I'm
didn't
gonna
hear
have
a
to
second.
refigure it.
We're gonna turn this back to
We're
beautification.
turning it back to beautification with a full staff for further study and a reasonable budget.
For the record, did anyone second this?
Yes,
I
Ed
did.
Black, second Phyllis's motion.
Yes.
Ed Black, yes.
Yes.
Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Bob Marshall,
Yes.
John Hess.
Yes.
Jack Adams.
Yes.
David Boaz.
Yes.
Bonaji, yes. Phyllis Richland.
Yes.
Diane Rose.
Yes.
John Gregg.
Yes.
Oh my God, he got you.
You got everybody.
It's anonymous or is it unanimous?
Anonymous?
Unanimously
Dominic,
unanimous.
I'm not putting up my hand, I just wanna thank the committee, that's all.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the repair of the Fairway Street culverts. Dave has new information on this, I'm gonna turn this over to him.
I have here an entrance to the maintenance building. What's
That's what I
that?
have too.
That's, he used as a landmark the Fairway Street building that may or may not become the
So
Eagle
what we're
Report.
discussing here
Is this right?
are the rotting
Yes, indeed.
51-inch pipes.
Right,
Yes.
and there's a picture of them on the back of the estimate.
Okay.
They look like alligators that died.
My only suggestion here is, instead of continuing to do a dance with Mr. Waldman, that we run the sleeving and grouting to the property line
Right.
and stop it.
It's approximately 30 feet.
And let him worry about his side. Now, what he wants ultimately is a drainage easement. He wants it in writing. You know, I went to Rod said Hugo would be authorized to provide such an easement. But I don't see why we would do that, it's really a discussion for another venue. But what I see are rotting pipes and big heavy trucks going over the only vehicular access to Southampton. No one in their right mind, not even PRPC, would consider blocking that drainage. Because not only would the golf course get flooded, Southampton would get flooded, that whole area. Those are huge pipes. And when you have heavy rain, that's the principle, a drainage.
Here's a however. However, it's a golf course and it's not considered a viable community. A viable community, to use your words, on unincorporated land in Palm Beach County is required to maintain all the water generated by a 100-year storm for 5 consecutive days.
Right.
Therefore, it's his responsibility. And what he told me 4 years ago on the stage when the PRPC, which whatever it was called then, I said, you and I are sharing the same groundwater. We're purchasing reclaimed water and you are gaining from our purchase.
Damn right.
And he said to me, I will only need one 4-inch pipe to drain all of the excess water out of this village. Which means that he's gonna have impervious surfaces, but he's increasing the amount of lakes and waterways to 10% of the total property, as we do. 64 acres of water, 640 acres of entire surface area, and he has 72, and he's putting 7.5 acres of water.
So he wants to
So-
keep his water.
So he wants to keep his water, he's not concerned with it running out.
Understand?
Didn't we agree?
All I know is Henry Handler wants a drainage easement.
Mhm.
I don't see any reason for some of the things you've said to bother. I just wanna fix my rotting pipe before that road collapses.
Collapses, correct.
I didn't worry about his end of the pipe.
Didn't we agree that we do that? Are we gonna
There've
discuss
been
it
votes on
again?
that.
So,
We've had
Vote back.
multiple votes, we've had
Yes.
a vote at officers.
I mean, the last time I remember, you said you were gonna bring it to the delegate assembly.
No, has to go to bids first.
All right, but it's gonna go to the delegate assembly, you even mentioned the cost.
Well,
So here it is,
the money involved, yeah, you do have to bring this to the delegate.
right,
It's a pot full of money.
but it has been,
What,
it has
24K?
been
Operations,
discussed,
but has
So
to
that-
go to bids.
yeah.
Jack was for next, and then you, John.
The drainage study contract that was awarded, what was the name of that vendor?
Federal engineering.
And, could.
No, I'm sorry, we're talking about Don Shalair. You're talking about,
Structural engineer.
you're talking about the swales that went into, North Drive, correct?
No, I'm talking about the,
The piping,
Oh, you're going way back.
way back.
That's-
no, I'm not
Yeah.
going, no, I'm not going way back.
I know it's
This is in the
Bath?
last year,
Bath and Borden?
no.
No,
It was 3
that's-
years ago.
Are we talking about the
3 years ago.
roadway survey that was commissioned by our treasurer?
Yes,
That was federal engineering.
because at one bid committee meeting, we were doing, a study on asphalting. And I said that, I suggested that we do a dual study for asphalting and drainage. And for $10,000, and the committee voted to do that. And then that never happened, because you said that the one that you awarded to the asphalting company didn't do drainage. And then you awarded a separate one to Federal who?
Federal engineering.
engineering.
Can we all the members of this committee get a copy of that study that they
Of
produced?
course, it's on the database. I believe we paid $2,400 for that study. And that was commissioned by the treasurer because he was trying to get a handle on the condition of the roads and how many years in different sections we had. That's been done and
But I'm not talking about the condition of the roads now, I'm talking about the drainage. This Federal engineering was a drainage study.
no, I don't believe it was. Federal engineering was commissioned by the treasurer. That study was to try to figure out the lifespan of the existing roadway.
There were 2 studies. First, the study was something like $6,000 or $7,000.
There was
now-
core sampling.
Yeah,
They
that,
did some core
they
sampling.
did.
That
There
was,
was a-
that was for the asphalt.
There was another drainage survey done by Don Shalair, and that was for the current project that I just completed on North Drive. That was strictly for drainage on North Drive.
Could we get copies of both of those drainage studies?
I believe you've already been given, but I'd be happy to provide you another. It's on the database, and
At the next meeting?
I can give it to you now if you like.
Okay.
Yes, David.
All of these studies aside, I mean, now that we're talking drainage studies, I can go back in memory 12, 15 years that we have drainage studies. I have a rotting pipe on the only vehicular access to 240 units. This piece of pipe, both of them have to be fixed,
Somebody make.
irrespective of the drainage.
Thank you.
Because they're gonna go, and then I have to jump around to try to find steel plates that are gonna cost me an arm and a leg.
It was a temporary solution.
And the people in Southampton are gonna be driving across the grass, getting stuck in the mud. All right? You know, I'm willing to go through to the delegates with this. This is a real requirement. And we know these pipes can collapse. Just think about Bath and Borden. Right?
Our big,
So drainage, you know, anybody can have copies of any of the studies we have. But it isn't gonna fix these pipes, right?
John Gregg and then John Hess.
We've been doing drainage, as you said, drainage studies since
Forever.
I've been here,
Forever.
you know, for the last 15 years. That being said, as David said, these pipes are rotting, we need to re-sleeve them because if that road collapsed, if we have one of them god-awful 20-day rains and this road collapsed, we're looking at 10 times the cost, if not more.
Yep.
You know, so we need to get this to the officers, and then we need to get it to the delegate assembly
ASAP.
as soon as possible and get it passed and get it fixed. Quit messing around with it. Done.
Say, I wanna make a motion that we proceed with the proposal on the table to re-sleeve them up to the property line at the price designated, $24,950.
I second it.
I second it too.
Give me your proposal again.
All right?
You wanna bring the proposal, a proposal to the delegates?
Yes. I recommend the proposal be sent forward.
It can go through the regular,
I think we've
Channel.
already,
I thought we
Talked about
already
it.
voted to
That's
do
what I'm
this.
saying.
We
Our
already-
officers
you did do it
and
in
an
operation.
executive board.
That's what I'm saying.
But we haven't presented it to the
it
delegates.
didn't go to the delegate, it didn't go to the delegates
Yeah, because of the,
Why
It-
would it do that?
Why would
because
go
we
to
got-
operations?
in the
I
middle
was
of
here,
a
I was
conversation
here at the meeting.
and lost a quorum. It's the only reason it did.
I'm sorry.
But I thought it was a done
No,
deal.
Bob's finished.
never came to bids. It was never at the executive board yet.
Yeah, it was executive board.
What?
I don't think so. I think we voted on.
Part of this project, do we need to clean out those pipes before we
Yes.
re-sleeve them?
Don't they
It
do
is,
that?
it is,
I think
Sounds
that's
like he
part of
does
the
that.
job.
is it a
That's
part
part
of the cost?
contract.
Person's job.
Those pipes are about a third filled in. Like,
They need to be empty, right?
oh yeah, dredged.
Power wash, cause it's
Is
just
that a part of the
sludge.
Yes.
cost you got here?
Yes, well, they wouldn't be able to get the stent in if they didn't clean it out, but yes, that's what they,
That's right.
they do this work for.
With a little mini shovel, you go,
That's what they do.
David, and then David.
Quite a bit to it, especially if you push this into the rainy season. It's not like it's dry over there.
Right.
You got a lot of water to deal with, you gotta block flow, you gotta do things over there.
They actually prefer that there be water in the pipe, it's easier for them, they're frogmen, they work with a.
It's in these little guys, you ought to see them.
They dive the pipe, even a smaller pipe than this, they dive it 100 feet up into the parking lot, I'm amazed. They get in, you know, it's amazing,
It's a,
it's
well,
like a nightmare to me, but they do
It's
it.
filthy
that's
water.
part of their job.
Okay, so wait, I have the proposal, oh, yeah, David?
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the motion at all, but can you just explain to me, now, this picture is self-explanatory, but can you explain to me what the other pictures are?
That's from the next job,
You're not up to
on
it
the
yet.
next
sorry,
job,
I should have
okay.
put some kind of divider there. The question came up, did we vote on this already? Well,
Not
the
yet.
answer was yes,
Oh,
but
yeah.
there were some issues that were unresolved the last time this came up, and one of them was Mr. Walton. And drainage easements, that's why we didn't really go.
We were waiting for an attorney to give us an opinion as far as whether,
Rod said that there is no obstacle. If we wanna give him a drainage easement, we can. There's no obstacle from us going ahead and fixing that pipe.
to our end.
Exactly,
Okay,
Our property line.
right,
exactly right.
okay.
So let's put it up to the delegate assembly and then proceed. Don't wanna waste any time with this.
No, come on, we got what, 2.5 weeks
Yeah.
till
Okay,
hurricane season
who
starts.
seconded John's motion?
I did.
Okay,
Are there any nay votes? Let's do it.
Are there,
like that.
are
Takes less
there
time.
any
Let's
other,
take time
are
and do
there-
it the long way.
are there any other proposals from another company coming in?
No, Dave,
Okay.
I haven't found a vendor yet that addresses this the same way, other than excavating.
Okay.
I'd like to find another guy, but so far, they seem to be specialists in this, and
Well,
we've been
that's
using them
fine.
since forever.
Can I ask a question, maybe ask a question to everybody here? I think this is almost on the emergency caliber as far as I would be concerned personally.
Well, with the timeframe
Yeah.
that we're living with.
Is it possible to give you the permission now, saying, hey, whatever, hey, Miss Anchor Services, put us on your schedule, even before we get to, say, the delegate
Delegate
assembly?
assembly? Yeah.
All right, well, I don't foresee any resistance on this. I could give them a heads up and say, day after delegate assembly, be ready to go.
Right.
You don't wanna
I-
find out we give them the business and all of a sudden, well, you're not gonna get, we can't get here until
I just have to be careful
July.
because,
Can-
whatever.
Too late.
Can we say, like, let's put us on your schedule for the next, within the next 2 weeks? Because that would bring us to the assembly, and
Something like
if,
that.
and I cannot see the assembly not voting for this.
No.
Probably not, but I kinda thought I heard, forget about the delegates, not
No,
for
no.
25K.
No,
not at all.
You know,
Not at all.
No, but just give us the date, let's say,
Sure.
May 22nd, you know what I'm saying?
I can do that on a phone call basis, nobody's
Right,
signing anything.
and then, you
No,
know,
there's no, I mean, absolutely.
no, I
has to
think
go
you're
through the
absolutely
delegate.
right, Dave.
I just think we
Little
need to get
information, can I
a
add some?
schedule.
I was involved in the Bath Borden thing, and they were able to put a balloon in the lake
Yes.
and stop the water flow coming in so they could
Remember that.
de-water the whole system.
Mhm.
So I don't think the season has anything to do with it, you know,
Okay,
the sooner the better.
all
But if
right.
we have to wait, they put a balloon, blow it up, and let whatever drain comes out, then clean the silt, make their insertion, backflow, their grout, their slurry grout, and that's it. We don't have to, then deflate and pull it out.
The last two jobs,
You've seen them do this other places.
I saw
Bad-
here in the
bad-
Bath and Borden, it was,
bad-
That's what I'm saying.
and the last two jobs that Anchor
Took a
did
bath.
for us like this, on smaller pipes, there was no dewatering, they worked on it wet. Like I said, they're frogmen, they work
But-
underwater.
Let me phrase that a
They're
different way.
jackhammers that work underwater.
When we come to the delegate assembly, can we also say at that time, if we approve this company, work can begin at such and such a time? Can you make a phone call to find out when they can schedule this work to be done?
Yes.
And present it
Just
to the
let me know
delegate
when we
assembly
bring it
at
up.
that time.
And what I'm gonna work
I
for
think
is
that-
the,
I'm sorry, I rephrased, my first statement was just
no, that's,
awkward.
Yeah.
But, I really think this has to get on somebody's schedule.
and I'll basically tell them, be ready the day after the delegate assembly.
they haven't given us a price yet, have they, or have?
Yeah,
Yeah.
24,
$9.50.
Basically.
it's almost $25,000.
The part about this job that drove me the most amount of crazy is that when I just happened upon it and saw this, how did it get this, it didn't get,
Because it's neglected,
but
it's a
this
rotted
is,
pipe.
this is a decade of neglect. Who was rolling up on
Walk
this?
around the village and show me what's not a decade neglected.
It's like, let's save a buck.
You're gonna find this stuff all the time, but this one particularly blew my brain out. All right, so, are we ready to vote?
We're ready to vote. Okay, those
We
in
have a
favor?
hold on.
Wait, we have one more.
Just one question.
Sure.
It's a big pipe. I don't know what the limit is, but is it a candidate for this extrusion process?
Ooh.
Just too big, 51-inch pipe.
I think the extrusion might damage the pipe itself now, you know,
I'd say the
because it's
first,
pressurized.
yeah, the first third of this pipe is what's rotted. I actually crawled this pipe to the other side. The middle part is actually not that bad, and that's the part that's under the road. But the rot goes from the out in, so I don't know if it's not gonna work the first third.
It's just, John showed me this.
And believe it or not, the last third, the part that's on Mr. Waldman's side, I went in there like the Viet Cong and threw it through a pipe, is actually not that bad either, because he doesn't have the water on his side. It's pretty dry.
Were we able to get television in there to see what it looked like?
You had television, Donald, he went in there with his iPhone and crawled.
Oh.
Now,
Okay.
when it's done, should we have them cut the pipe parallel to the bank rather than, that goes out and it's a perpendicular cut, a square end?
I think you should have a little bit of clearance outside of the dirt.
Yeah,
But
bring it beyond the dirt, but cut it parallel,
Yeah,
rather
sure.
than a vertical cut.
Right.
Because you can see that's where the rust is
That's
happening.
where the rust is,
because-
right.
Yeah, it's exposed.
Okay.
Okay, so we're ready to take a vote?
Mm-hmm,
David Israel,
Yes.
Ed Black,
yes.
Stuart Richland,
Yes.
Bob Marshall,
Yes.
John Hess,
Yes.
Jack Adams,
Yes.
Dave Bowes,
Emphatically, yes.
and two checks.
An emphatic
Ron
yes, two
Bonaja,
votes.
yes, Phyllis Richland,
Yes.
Diana Rose,
Yes.
and John Gregg.
Last but not least.
All right, guys, Plymouth G, and it's not Plymouth K, that's my mistake, has a drainage problem in back of their center building. We have as a guest today, Mrs. Daniels, who's their treasurer. Plymouth G commissioned a engineering study, how to solve their problem.
I'm sorry, you said G, Donald?
Plymouth G, yeah, not K. I took some pictures for you guys to look at. You could see that, I mean, obviously, there's no water there now, but they've tried to address this in different ways over the years. There's one here where the guy's sandbagging his place, I mean, it looks
I saw that.
bad, you know? Mr. Bruce Scott, who I know, who was addressing this problem in the past, one of the ways he addressed it was to run drain pipes across his property onto Plymouth Laundry property, and he was draining onto ours, but whatever helped to keep their place dry. The engineering study, Dom and I looked at it this morning, it appears pretty sound. They're going to put in a swale, similar to what we just put in on North Drive, but because it's right up against the back of the building, can't allow the water to drain naturally, because that's just where mosquitoes are gonna grow. So, this looks like it's gonna be pitched, this swale, to the eastern end. Water's gonna run to an inlet. Then there's a pipe running underground across Yuko property to an existing storm drain, which in turn runs to the lake. It's a fairly simple plan. I believe it would work. The question here is the part of the pipe that's going to run on the Yuko property up to our storm drain. That's what I'm here for you guys to examine and comment on. Dates, yes, Dave?
I recall the front of Plymouth Laundry regularly turning into a lake after a rain. So talk to me about this drain that you say runs out to the canal or to the lake, because what I remember was we tried to solve that pond creation by installing a number of very expensive French drains.
Yeah.
I'm not aware that there is a full-fledged drain appropriately located that goes out to the lake. I don't see why we would have put in all those French drains if that had been the case.
The drain that we're looking at is at the corner of North Drive and the North Drive extension. I haven't been down into the drain yet. I will be under there to make sure that it is a storm drain. But near as I could tell from the last rain, it's my clue that this is a real storm drain and not a French drain is it's working. Water's flowing into it. When we had the flood, it accepted every bit of it and it disappeared real fast.
Let's be sure.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure anyone who's been here for any length of time remember the lakes that used to form in front of Plymouth Laundry.
I now have a separate set of clothes to go into sewers, and I'm, but yeah, I will be in there.
Old clothing he used.
Yeah, indeed. Mrs. Daniels is here and she has some presentation for us, so I'm gonna turn it over to her
My name
now.
is Rosalie Daniel, I'm representing Plymouth J Association.
Right.
And first of all, I want to thank you for having me here as a guest and giving me an opportunity to present my case. And this was done in such a timely fashion and press. And I'm also a treasurer of my association. And the reason I'm here, I'm relatively new in this development, about 2 years. And the reason I picked this place, we looked at a few neighborhoods, a few areas. I love this place, it's gorgeous, you're doing an amazing job, I love the grounds, I love the pristine pools, the beautiful lake. And you are here for the same purpose that I'm here, because you care and you love the people and you want them to live happy here. So the beautification committee, all the stuff that you do, amazing. Now, until you get to the back of building G behind the laundry room, and if you look at those sandbags and those pipes, it looks like a third world country. Nobody wants to see them, and I bring my friends to come and buy here, I don't wanna show them the back of building G, okay?
Especially,
have to do
especially if
something
it's been raining.
Right,
So
so
you
we
walk
have
through
to
it,
do
you
whatever
think
was
about it
done
for-
before, how
Sun
many
doesn't shine
years
back
this was
there either.
taking place, it's
It's not gonna
important.
dry up.
No.
I'm here to make sure that we can deal with these issues, move ahead, correct the problems, and not do patchwork, and not do this drain and the other one. I don't think the French drains were ever done.
No.
The main concern here is that the laundry and the parking lot, the walkway there, the drive, is higher than this building G. So we've worked with engineers, we have more than one engineer that looked at it, and we have more than one proposal for the work to be done. Our association is willing to do the swelling and the inlet and connect. My main concern is, and I'm sure you have these pictures that describe what has to be done. We are willing to do all the work up to the line, which is our property. The rest, I need permission from you to connect the two inlets from my water that we're gonna collect to go into the inlet to the stormwater drain that is on Yuko property. We have to dig from my inlet through the parking lot and let the water go there. So this is the part that we need your number one permission. Number two, I would like this to go next to the finance committee. Because after reviewing a few proposals, one of them was $25,000. My total is $11,500. My part from mine to the reline to the Plymouth 4 Association, we're willing to cover. We need a little help to do work on Yuko property. And I think you dealt with Waltham, you dealt with other. This issue is not new. This issue is not something that we just came up with. The people are miserable, they're not happy. We want to make them happy, just like you are here and enjoy that place. So what I would like the committee to approve, give me permission to do the work. And number two, to see if the finance committee can cover part of that. I don't know I saw the proposal for Waltham H. It's about $20,000 that you discussed at last meeting. Who is paying for that? Yes, Waltham H was last.
It was on Yuko.
That was Yuko property,
The whole thing is on you.
all
So-
Yuko property.
So we're talking, so I am just asking for your help with the things that we're doing, and the price is $6,900, the Yuko part.
Alright, you in essence want a drainage easement.
Yes.
That's what they want.
And you to pay for it.
No, I'm
Us.
willing to pay for my part,
Us to
I mean,
pay
we're
for it.
doing all the other work.
Don't take my comment as critical. I happen to agree, I know that this has been a problem for decades
Mhm.
in that area.
It was.
What's our piece of it?
6,900, I think she just said.
paying.
5,900
69.
would be our piece of it.
$6,000.
Should we pay for it?
paying
Alright.
11.5, we're
Make a
paying
motion.
6.9.
I got you, I just
Can
wanna
I ask-
Who would
understand.
do the
No,
work?
I
No,
think
the total is 11.
that's the total, Joe.
The total.
Oh, okay.
I have an estimate yesterday for $25,000, of course we don't want to.
No, look, we
Can I
haven't,
ask a question? Thank you very much for your presentation, it was very good. Your
I'm good.
your research that you've done, does it show that what you're asking us is to connect to there is a pipe that you're asking to be connected to that would,
We will install a
Outflow.
pipe on our property,
Yes.
the way to
Right.
get the swale there. And then we have to dig and make our own inlet, which is not there, and then let the water, we can do our part, and the water is gonna go in parking lots, we can do that. But to do it right, we have to address it and collect the needed water for the lakes, for watering our property, we need to connect it to an existing inlet.
no, I'm just trying to understand your current research. Is there an existing current drain? No, we have to build a new one.
That's what she
So
said.
No,
she
you
said,
just have to
we're
make a
paying, the
connection
one
to
on my
it.
property, on my part, we're paying for one.
Right,
What we need from Yuko is permission, we're gonna have to dig up the parking lot, or
attach
see where the flagging is gonna be from the utilities, that's gonna have to be done before we dig. And they're gonna, if you look at my, I think you should have this proposal also, it says, all we need is connect the drainage inlet to the existing drainage inlet located on the south side of the laundry building next to the street, that is the closest sewer line, not sewer line, the
So there
closest
is, I
line.
mean, it sounds like it's
But
saying
not
there
on our
is. Yes.
property, it's
No,
on Yuko property.
No, yeah, no, on Yuko property. So you're just asking, you know, for a connection to that existing drain?
Right.
Okay, all right,
Dawn, I have
all
a
right, thanks for that
question.
clarification.
I have a question. How much of the water running out of the laundry room is causing this problem?
No,
None at
It's
all?
not
None.
from the laundry room, it's just the fact that the laundry room, if you look at the, level, the laundry room is higher and the road than the building G behind it.
Okay,
So whatever we so we have to regrade it, put
I
a pipe
understand.
underground, put it into an inlet and save that water, the rainwater, and use it for.
do we
not
have to
waste
do
it.
any research on our part of the drainage in order to make sure that it's not gonna impact Yuko property in any way?
Well, it is impacting because it's a parking lot, we have to
It's
dig up.
gonna impact you.
We have to dig up and put in a pipe and close it, and that's part of
Directional
it.
boring, not digging up, I think they can
You're gonna do it this way?
achieve it, yeah,
Yeah.
well,
You're
How
gonna
big
be
a
able
pipe
to
can
do
they
it
put in there?
horizontally?
Maybe.
Maybe.
it doesn't have to be a very large pipe, just
No, 12
something,
inches.
just something to
A
take
12
the,
inch
that pipe, that big, that's big.
That's a big pipe.
We have,
Well, we want the water,
folks, there is an engineering study,
Yeah.
well worth reading.
Yeah.
My question is, again, we have to make absolute certainty that the final drain goes where somebody says it goes, out into a lake, and not expect this problem to be solved by percolation. Okay,
then we're
this
just
is critical. I remember we put, I don't know how many French drains out there when we did the repaving. Because everybody knew that there was a flooding problem at the Plymouth Laundry. Okay,
If this is a French drain, it's the only French drain that still works.
Where,
There's no-
what are you looking
we
at?
don't have a French.
It's not, I'm almost certain it's a regular storm drain, but again, I'm gonna go down in the damn thing
The
and
storm
make
drain
sure.
you looked at, the one on the sidewalk, we don't have anything close to the building, none of those buildings have storm drains.
Barbara?
This is the closest one.
to measure is to know.
Right,
I don't wanna run, I know there's a problem here and there's been a problem for years. I don't wanna come up and spend this money and that drain isn't what we think it is.
Right.
Alright,
or they're off target
What's the name of your
because it's
vendor,
not
ma'am?
where
What's
they're
the name of
aiming.
that vendor?
I have them on the table.
I did that proposal.
I have the two, I
Yeah.
have the
Stormwater
and I have
engineering.
two engineers who looked at this, and then, they.
We only have
And you
one.
got a second one, which I
Right.
think you
I
said
did
is
the second one
25,000.
too,
Who
right.
was the second one?
The second one, I think I gave you also a copy, hold on a second, the one that we're working with is Stormwater Engineering. And those are the ones that provided the pictures and everything. The other company,
yeah.
Dominic, while
Yeah.
she's looking, my question was, if I'm looking at this, the back of Plymouth B and where the laundry is, to cut through and to run a pipe across the parking lot, does it have to go across the street?
no, you dig it to put a pipe.
No, I
under.
understand, dig it across the street, and what's on the other side of the street before the lake?
I assume there's a drain there, that's what I'm
Well,
being told.
that's
There's
what
no
we.
lake, the lake, that's not there.
And
I'm
I
just saying,
I
you're
find
telling
it
me
hard
all
to
this football
believe.
part is only gonna be cost for all this construction work, only $6,900.
Yuko part
But-
that we're
but
asking
that's
for, that's what we're asking.
Running
We want
it
the
and
part.
repairing it and
Eyes
all.
on.
Yes,
I'd like
foray
to see
into the
that in
sewer
your
system.
writing.
I'll go
it is in
down
writing, it is in writing.
Where,
it is in writing, I have the,
There's a drain there.
But wasn't his plan,
something called Panther Utilities, you don't
but
have
but
this copy?
wasn't his
No, I
plan,
I just have stormwater.
There's,
Yeah.
Why
I
did
have
we
the
have
two
floods?
copies and they broke it
Because
down,
people
I don't have
listen
a
to
lot.
wasn't his plan to dig a trench and put a pipe in?
That's on our part, yes, we will do the training,
why.
we will do the grading, on our part.
And how's he
we'll do-
gonna get to the drain?
No, we're gonna have an inlet on our part, in
I
the ground,
understand.
and from there, the two pipes connecting, that's
How
all.
did they connect? What is his plan to do that?
A ditch and a 12-inch pipe.
We're putting in an inlet,
they put in a manhole and then run a
sewer.
pipe from their
And then-
manhole
and
over.
the water-
How do they run
sewer.
it from there to the point where the drain is?
This is what, if you read
That's
this,
our part.
it's saying
It's going-
asphalt repairs up to 250.
They measured already, they did.
That's a lot of footage,
But it's less, it's
What I'm
approximately.
saying is, how are they gonna fix it? Will it impair anything else when they're done with doing the
That's
asphalt?
what I
It
asked.
all has to be put into this, that it's not going to, that everything is even.
All right.
Folks,
I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to make a motion
Thank you.
that you study these proposals submitted by this lady, and you come back to us next month and give us, what your recommendation is.
Propose alternately that I do an eyes-on this weekend, I'll go down in the hole, make sure it's a storm drain. I'm sure it is, but I'll make sure,
We
take
have two
pictures,
engineers looking at that.
and I'll bring it to
storm
officers next week.
So they're gonna pay 4,600, we're paying
It
6,900.
sounds like you guys are,
69.
it sounds like you
That's
guys
what
are
I
okay
said,
with,
6,900.
Oh, good.
it sounds like you guys are okay with the project, provided that it's going to an actual storm drain.
Yeah, I still like to, make believe that I'm, in a real committee and, we have a real purpose here.
Are we
So,
talking about expenditure of any vehicle money? Beyond,
Yeah,
beyond,
$6,900.
are we okay with that?
I think you gotta check it out.
Oh, that's what I said.
Well, we'll check it out first, and then we'll make a
That's why I'm making
decision.
a motion
Check.
that you
I have
take this
somebody
under
who wants
study and you come back next
$14,000
month
for
and
that part.
and we
Yeah.
discuss it again.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
There goes the beautification sign.
And everything has to be
No, don't
put
say
back
that.
this.
No, that would be held up, and that would be paid for out of infrastructure.
That's
Right.
right.
That's unambiguous.
That's a whole different story.
Is this a candidate for directional boring?
No, thanks.
Minimize the digging?
be a little too big.
You're gonna need at least a
That'd be
12
part
inch,
of your
12-inch pipe.
This company that we're working with, and
My
the
research,
utilities,
her
they're
engineer's
sure, they're
research.
licensed, they're standing behind their work, there is.
Okay, no good, no good.
That's
We have a
good.
contract permits
A
from the
contract with
county.
them will
That's
state what
So I
they're
think the intent is
responsible for
an
and their
open
warranty,
trench
their work.
to
What
install
about
a pipe.
Alright, legally
Get
speaking,
copies
I
of
mean,
this to
I
get
said
that.
it as
How
a
many
joke,
need?
do we
I want
literally
one
have to grant
Oh,
Plymouth
15,
G
12.
a drainage easement?
That was a joke, I thought you were serious.
You better check
Well, as
it
long
out.
as
well,
you're
wait a minute,
paying
what about
for it,
permits?
as long as you're paying for it, wouldn't that be
We checked,
conditional?
he checked, the engineer checked with the county, he says it's maintenance, it's whatever, he does not need a permit.
He doesn't, but we might if
No,
it's
no,
coming
from
on our
Yukon,
property.
he checked from my.
Nah, I think we should check to make
So
sure.
you check, that's your.
This is a Rod question, I'll take care of it.
Absolutely.
Okay. Send him the paperwork.
Jack, to
Yeah.
answer your question, I'm more than willing to go down there and eyes on and make sure that that's an actual storm drain. But as far as the other questions, that would be for Mrs. Daniel's engineer to do. Yeah.
He's responsible for this.
Right, any questions
But
about
he
this
might not
job?
do directional boring, so then he's not gonna
Yeah,
be
he
involved.
didn't
Well,
say
he's
it
gonna
was,
supervise, he tells me on that he is gonna supervise and make sure the work.
I'm
He's
saying
gonna be on
anyway,
site every
I'm
day?
saying, you do what,
It's a few days' work.
He's gonna have an on-site supervisor there every day.
That's a good question.
It's
No,
not
he
in the
says he's
contract.
coming.
No,
to
it's
check.
not.
The
I don't
question,
have, that's not the contract.
Oh,
has it been,
question
There are
should
two
be
parts. One is
raised
the-
about directional boring.
Correct.
If it's feasible and what the impact on cost would be.
Correct.
Cause that's a lot of digging.
Yeah.
have you talked to any people that he's done work for?
Thank you, my
in the
friend.
last 6 months to see how he does?
Did I ask for
Did you
references?
confirm with references he's done business with, to see how he does?
No, this was recommended, this
David, send this to Rod
company,
also.
Seacrest recommended me four
Oh,
companies, so Seacrest says they
I
work
feel
with
better
them.
knowing Seacrest is involved.
So Seacrest gave me this referral,
Yeah, Seacrest
and out of
involved.
four
I have no
names, two
problem with it.
responded, and that's
Got
what we're
it.
dealing
Okay, go
with and those.
That would have made it easier from the beginning, because
Okay.
Seacrest
So
uses it.
they are the ones who recommended the company, so I have to take them, you know,
Yeah, Seacrest recommended them, I have no problem with
because they have done this.
Alright, so where do we wanna go from here? Additional study and bring it
We're
back?
gonna wait to hear from Rod?
Yeah.
David?
Legal opinion?
Rod'll be 2 or 3 days.
You gotta move it to.
All I need to know, what I wanna know from Rod, because legally they're 2 separate pieces of property, do we have to go through the process of granting them a drainage easement? And it may be necessary, just one of those little legalities.
You shouldn't come back and smack someone in the head
Right.
15 years from now
Right.
when something happens.
There's no new water being
Piping underground on our
shed.
side.
No,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. All right.
Yes,
Okay, so we have to have another meeting to get all the answers.
Rod could clarify whether easement's necessary or whether the permit's necessary.
I said, and
Yeah,
the
the
engineer
permits are
checked
gonna
with
be
the
needed.
county. The engineer was in touch with the county regarding that connecting pipe.
So-
Our work is maintenance, we can
So
drive it
the,
under
so the
maintenance.
engineers have talked to all the people in the county.
He did, and this engineer that whose name is Michael from this company,
Well,
Stormwater something.
look, it's gonna-
They deal with that over.
it's gonna be his backside if he, let's say this all goes through. And he goes to do this project and he doesn't get a permit and a permit is required. I mean, vendors always like to say, oh, we don't need a permit. And
He
then
tells me that he was.
Can't
they'll
check
get
like
the
Touch with
permit.
the
They-
county,
but they all
with
say
the
that.
county.
That's what he's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
They all say that.
Can't handle.
And if it comes
Yeah.
back to
Wow.
bite him in the tail,
Someone
it's
from the board
his,
wants to get put in a
ma'am,
call,
ma'am,
that's fine.
ma'am, it's on him if he finds he needed one
Exactly.
and misinformed you. That was what he was trying to say to you.
Okay.
I just-
I think if it's all part of containing the water on our property, we don't need the permit. It's when it impacts the dam and Canal 51 and all of that stuff,
You shouldn't be
then there's a
cursing. We're
responsibility.
on television here.
Okay, so are we tabling this for a month for
Right.
further study?
I don't know.
No,
if
if you
it's
did.
ever mine.
Not, yeah,
The next meeting.
we can,
Whatever this is
Bring it to
February,
the,
my
office.
people have
You wanna go- you
four
wanna do
sunrooms
A week
that
from today?
are flooding
It would, it would be good,
another month.
because we are rapidly approaching rainy season,
Uh-huh.
to get on with this.
Okay,
Alright.
so
I can direct the calls from the owners to the board.
so we're tabling it,
Every
so
time it rains.
so we're tabling this
Okay,
till
so
next,
we've been
Not
doing
if you,
this for a
not if you
long
want us
time.
to, not if you want us,
Enjoy the
I think so.
stay.
not if you want us to approve this, you're not gonna have the owners calling us.
John
Need a special
Gregg.
meeting.
I think we table this for a week.
Okay.
Do the study and call a special meeting.
Yeah.
And get this over with and done.
exactly,
Thank you.
yeah.
and
I'll
the,
second that
I'll
motion.
third it.
and the questions that need to be answered between then and now is,
Vertical boring.
well, the vertical boring,
Horizontal.
the horizontal boring, the Plymouth, do you need the easement? That's a legal question, and then my job is to find out if that drain's what we need it to be.
That's right.
Anything
Yeah,
else that we need to do between now and then?
Get a report from the attorney.
Pray it doesn't rain.
Check on permitting.
Well, you'll find
no,
out
no,
what
no,
Lane's
no.
house looks.
Pray it rains.
I know what it is because Plymouth was in my quadrant when I was vice president and Sandy and her husband were the
I
president.
remember saying that.
And let me tell you, it was a heartache.
If
Every
my,
single day I was on the phone with them or the people from the association.
if my patio flooded every day, it rained, I would be some kind of upset
Pissed.
person.
You think?
I ain't gonna say what I really wanna say, but.
We all know that this corner of the world is flood prone and we've been addressing it. This, the
Yeah,
last project
Listen,
was
let's face it,
hopefully go a long way to
you don't
that.
think that we're sinking a little bit over the last 40 years that this,
A lot.
that this community has been built?
So
They
that's
were
why
built
we
on
have to
swamp.
address
What
that
do
Of
you
course
expect?
it's, yeah, we're
Right.
If you
like
don't
6
mind,
inches
I'd
of.
like to leave, I'm driving, I'm flying out
Thank you,
today.
Mrs. Daniel.
Thank you so much.
Thank
for
you.
your
Okay,
time.
thank
Give
you.
us another
Nice
10
meeting
days.
you.
Safe journey.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with your trip.
Alright, guys, I wanna crank through some of this stuff, most of it's informational. Our resident artist, Bob Rivera, would like to put a palm tree on the left side of the laundry.
good.
He gave us some.
That's the bus, huh?
Oh,
Yeah, it's these two will match what he wants to put on the sides of the buses.
It's like a cartoon.
Looks nice to me, it's up to you guys, what do you want?
Well, don't act like a magnet and suck one of them buses into the building.
Guess what, Don?
Guess what, Don?
Farmer's hand is up.
Oh, it's still up.
Yeah.
I didn't take it down yet.
That's for you guys to decide.
Had its Viagra today.
It's enough already.
It's the cost of paint, so.
A little is good, a whole lot is
Yeah.
not good.
I recall the great graffiti disaster on the New York City subway.
Yes.
Barbara, you did have your hand.
I'll wait till they're done.
You're up, Barbara.
Okay, are you trying to, did you or Bob decide on this? Or did you both collaborate?
This was Bob's idea. I said make up some markups and I would submit it to the committees. It's the cost of paint. If you guys like it, do it. If you don't,
Well, if you are gonna do it, and I don't know what you're gonna do, but if you are gonna do it, I would pick the bottom one that has less color in it.
Yeah, me
and a little
too,
bit more sedate.
me too. I like the laundry room
How
sign
would
though.
something
when I
like that
passed
go
it.
on the front sign on Okeechobee?
No way,
You
Yeah,
can't see
put
it.
that,
no way.
yeah, put that on there too.
I've got something to show you, but I don't wanna bring it here, it's on my computer.
It's after 12 o'clock, I have
What that
I have
looks
another,
like, it's
I do
like
too.
the sun is setting,
I have to go,
that bottom one. It looks like the
I'm
sun
already
is
in trouble.
setting.
I have to take my medication.
Bye, John.
bye, Johnny.
Oh, I knew you
Thank
acted
you.
strange, John.
No, I have diabetic medicine I have to take.
Ah.
Bye, John, thank you.
Take care,
I'll
stay
fall
well.
over here in a second.
Please, wait.
Folks, the
Eat your
cost on this
breakfast
one
in the
is minimal. You either like it or you don't.
That's it.
Decide.
Yea or nay?
I like it.
Somebody wanna make a motion or is just dying for lack of interest?
We wanna pick a time and day for returning to discuss Plymouth G.
It's a good
Oh,
idea.
wait a minute, we're not gonna be here.
Did we say officers next week?
Do you,
Under the officer.
Right after the officers meeting,
alright,
Offices is when?
because the officers will probably talk about it.
Offices on the 25th, okay, we'll be here. Is that gonna be a joint meeting, bids and officers?
can be.
Could be.
Maybe we should make it a joint
Try it a
meeting and
joint-
get it all over with.
Have bids and officer joint meeting.
Let's make sure we have some answers.
Well, it's Donald's job to see that we have the answers.
I got one job. Jump into the sewer and crawl around.
Okay,
Can we put a
You know,
camera?
you know I like it down there, so it's not like
Can we
it's.
put a camera in there?
Yeah, here it is. It's attached to Donald's hand, yeah.
25th,
As you go by the laundry and there's
10
two
a.m.
driveways.
That would be bids and
The second
offices, a
one's got
joint
big
meeting.
drain in it that goes
If,
to the
if we
lake.
don't
There's a
have the
drain here,
answers by the
And it
25th,
connects to it,
you
and
can
this one goes
notify
to
the
the
bid
lake.
committee not
I
to
want
show
to put where
up,
they
and
put
it would
this
just be the officers.
French drain, I want them to run from there over to this one and then that
Oh,
one to that
I
one.
mean, we could come
It's
as
too far.
guests.
You still got a damn swamp, you spent $8,000 for nothing. But what do I know?
Alright,
What do you
guys
wanna
want-
do
you guys-
about
you guys
this?
wanna talk
Are we
about the
gonna
palm
skip
tree?
this? Are we gonna?
Palm tree?
Well, that's what we're gonna
Well-
do at the meeting.
Palm tree on each
What's
one.
next?
the picture, you wanna do it or not?